On ESPN, Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Carco Auto Sales. Give them a call at 783-1722 or check them out online at buyfromcarco.com.
Here we go.
From the Bushlight Studios, this is ESPN 95.3.
Well, this town is a pigskin paradise.
KERX, Paris, Fort Smith.
Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that doesn't respect you.
Live from the Bushlight Studios.
Don't ask me if I'm all right. Joaquin said dominate, and we not doing it.
We're going to go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Hell yeah! We got 30 minutes for the rest of our lives.
Phil said you had very motivational words at halftime.
Hold the road, hold the road, hold the road, hold the road.
It's halftime with Phil Elson, produced by Matt Travis.
I put my heart up. Let's go, man.
Probably as frustrated as I've been the first half. Second half, very happy.
Do we believe? Yes, sir. 30 minutes for the rest of our lives. Hold the road, hold the road, hold the road. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Turn that down, you
Now, here's Phil Elson.
Well, in all the SEC places I've been, it's been abnormal. It's not normal. Normally, it's an in-conference home game. But it's the schedule. We're going to embrace it, but it's different. The great thing is it's not a night game. It's their homecoming and all those things, a whiteout and all that kind of stuff. But it's not a night game, so we're not going to get back at 7 or what. And we're off next week. We get a bye week. So if you're going to have one that goes up to Utah, this is the perfect weekend to have it.
Well, it remains to be seen if that is the case. That was Sam Pittman in Monday's Zoom press conference discussing really the uniqueness, the standalone uniqueness of this Arkansas matchup with BYU. Right here in the middle of what is usually a month that is a bunch of SEC games, a bye week, and some FCS competition. That's not the case for the Razorbacks, who, you knew coming into the season that they'd put themselves in a very challenging position with the 12-game schedule. They didn't realize when they signed the contract with Cincinnati that the Bearcats would have become so darn good under Luke Fickell. I don't know if they viewed it as an easy game necessarily, but that's a Cincinnati program that signed with Arkansas was not the team that showed up. Of course, Arkansas did dispatch them and send them back to the Queen City of the Ohio River with a loss. BYU, you expect them to be a good program year in, year out. They basically have been for a long time since Lavelle Edwards took over the program in the 70s. Kalani Sitake has kept the team in winning fashion for most of his time there. And it's just the time of the year that this game is scheduled. If I understand, next season BYU visits Arkansas in the month of September, right when you're starting to get into the meat of the non-conference schedule. I mean, you look at some of the other schedules across the SEC this year. Alabama didn't play an SEC game until September the 24th. The Auburn Tigers didn't have their first SEC game until the same week. Arkansas already had played against South Carolina by that time. And, of course, the Razorbacks do have the bye week next week. But BYU is a standalone, unique challenge, I think, for anybody in the SEC during the month of October. There are a couple of weeks where it is just league play, SEC versus SEC, which is kind of unique throughout the year. It doesn't happen all that often, but in October that happens a couple of times. And, I mean, SEC versus SEC is always going to be what you view as the most important games and the toughest games on your schedule. But usually there would be, aside from the bye week that you get in the month of October, maybe a cupcake to play in October too. And that's what happened for Arkansas last year. One reason that the Razorbacks were able to rest any injuries and any nagging concerns after their third consecutive loss to the Auburn Tigers in October last season, well, that's because they played against UAPB which is basically, I'm not going to call it a glorified bye week, but the starters didn't have to play for very long, could have rested a lot of players, and then you had your bye week. This is a much different situation. Even if it was BYU coming to Fayetteville in the month of October, you're facing a team that was just now knocked out of the top 25 for the first time this year. You're facing a program that is going into the Big 12 next year. And, of course, Arkansas was allowed to schedule BYU because they're viewed as a major independent. Arkansas does not play any other major conference teams outside of the SEC this year, although, ironically, both Cincinnati and BYU join the Big 12 next year. So this week presents itself its own unique set of challenges, playing against a good program in the time of the year where you usually do not play good programs outside of the conference. And, hey, then you throw in the idea of everything that goes into traveling for a football team and then add on a few more, hundreds more miles than this team is used to traveling. Now, they're going to do the same sort of travel as always, leave on Friday in the afternoon, get to the hotel, have a team meal, and get set for a football game the very next day. And what's going to be a crazy atmosphere in Provo. It wouldn't matter which SEC team would be showing up into Provo. They've only played 2 SEC programs all time in their stadium, Mississippi State being the other. They would just be excited about it. Doesn't matter. And it wouldn't even matter if it was Arkansas traveling to BYU, if they were going to any other program across the country, just because it's an SEC team showing up. They would be they would have a whiteout. They would have a sold-out crowd. That's what you expect when you're an SEC program traveling outside the conference. So definitely, I mean, it's a unique and difficult game for one thing, just because BYU is good and can throw the football around with a lot of success, and we know that that's where Arkansas has had most of their issues throughout the season defensively. I mean, you can also take your pick in some other areas. But here we are at the halfway point of the season, and you're facing an incredibly difficult task. And then looking ahead after this game, you do get your opportunity for the off week next week. I can just imagine that this team is really looking forward to a week of rest more than anything else, for the body, for the mind, and then gird themselves up for what's going to be, well, I mean, an easier stretch. Is that okay to say it in those terms? An easier stretch, though by no means easy at all. I know Auburn not playing well at all right now, and who knows whether or not Brian Harsin will be the head coach when Arkansas visits them a couple of days before Halloween. But going on the road, anything can happen. And right now, Arkansas has gone 0-2 playing away from Reynolds Razorback Stadium. So Auburn, not an easy game, no doubt about that. Arkansas may be favored once that game gets, once we get to game week at Auburn, but I don't even think that is a foregone conclusion. Liberty, another good independent team. Certainly a game Arkansas should win. We don't know what the situation will be health-wise by then. LSU, you got to watch out for LSU. They were the only team that defeated Mississippi State. And they've had some ups and had some downs for certain, but I don't think there's any doubt that LSU will be a very tough opponent for what will be the second-to-last home game of the year. And then you wrap up your home schedule with Ole Miss, right now undefeated and running roughshod over just about anybody that's lined up in front of them. But by that time, we'll learn a little more about Ole Miss, because they get a couple of good defenses coming up soon in LSU and then A&M. And then just before Ole Miss visits Fayetteville, they'll get the Alabama Crimson Tide. So maybe there'll be an Alabama effect, because, hey, maybe we saw an Alabama effect last week against Arkansas when they showed up in Starkville. So, and then, of course, ending the season against Missouri in the Battle Line rivalry. So when you look ahead in a team right now that at the halfway point is 3-3, and Sam Pittman has said, look, at the start of the season, what our goal wasn't picking a specific bowl necessarily. We want to play in a bowl game and then take it from there. Well, there are 6 games left. You need 3 to get 6. And if Arkansas does not defeat BYU, then you got 5 chances left for 3 more wins. And where do they come from? Auburn, Liberty, Missouri, yes, maybe. Yeah, I feel pretty confident about that. But then again, we felt awfully confident going into the Southwest Classic against A&M that Arkansas would take care of business against the Aggies for the second year in a row. And I know game week against Mississippi State, we weren't all that sure about what we would see, and that had more to do, I think, with the idea that you didn't have your quarterback, K.J. Jefferson. But I also know that when the season started, before the season started, when we were looking at the 12-game schedule and like, all right, what are we about to see? You want to pick your number of wins. Everybody looked at Mississippi State as basically chalking it up as a W, even with a road team. And because Arkansas had beaten them 2 in a row, I think you expected it again. Man, right now, you still feel really confident about a bowl game, no doubt. But you want to get a good bowl game. I think Sam Pittman right now with his team is just going one game at a time. And this one against BYU, it is a unique one, no doubt, for the middle of the month of October. And that's where we start halftime today on this glorious Wednesday across our beautiful state. Major League Baseball playoffs got in full swing yesterday. We'll talk that and some of the Razorbacks and BYU with Grant Hall in our next segment. Got Alyssa Orange from Pig Trail Nation in the second hour. We'll talk with her about the Razorbacks, of course, as well. Bill King joins us in hour number 3. Got a ton of really good college football games on the schedule for this weekend, and we'll talk with him about that and, of course, about Tennessee and Alabama, see if the Vols can wrap up their 15-game losing streak to the Crimson Tide. Halftime back after this.
Ride without compromise. CF Moto's brand new U-Force 1000 XL with 2 3-person bench seats to haul more rear ends as you haul butt. Auto Finders in Adventure, Oklahoma has the perfect CF Moto for any road you choose. Get some serious mud on the tires with aluminum rims, custom paint, power steering, and a 3,000-pound winch. No wonder the CF Moto is Auto Finders' best-kept dirty little secret. Ride without compromise at Auto Finders in Adventure, Oklahoma in Roland. Visit a complete list of inventories online at autofindersok.com. Your search ends here.
Hi, I'm Mike Van Jr. with Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. You can count on my team to provide top quality pressure washing and exterior cleaning services for your property.
What all do you service?
Fence washing, gutter, or deep concrete cleaning for your home, commercial business, and more.
Do you have insurance?
Absolutely. We're covered with liability insurance, and we also use safe and effective wash methods, leaving your home or business looking brand new.
I guess I need to go to your website, mjmobilewash.com.
Or just give me a call at 479-763-5561. Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. One call cleans it all.
WT Equipment is your home for New Holland ag and construction equipment, sales, parts, and service. For high horsepower row crop tractors and combines, utility tractors and hay equipment, compact track loaders, and mini excavators. WT Equipment has it all. Stop by one of their 8 locations to explore the value of New Holland tractors and see why New Holland hay equipment and twin rotor combines are second to none in harvesting ability. Need to upgrade your construction equipment fleet? Give WT Equipment a call. Come by a store or check out their website, WTEquip.com.
Flu season will be here before you know it, and Law's Drug Store in Fort Smith has the regular and 65-plus senior flu shots ready now to care for you and your family. Law's Drug Store has COVID vaccinations and boosters available for ages 5 and up, as well as shingles, pneumonia, and whooping cough vaccines. Call 452-6116 and schedule your flu or vaccine shot appointment, or stop by Law's Drug Store, 6802 Rogers Avenue behind Outback Steakhouse. Law's Drug Store opens 6 days a week to safely care for you and your family.
Tired of spending all your hard-earned cash at the gas pump right now? Wheeler Power Sports is here to help you out. They have a giant selection of motorcycles and scooters to help maximize fuel efficiency. There are over 50 scooters in stock right now, with some getting up to 100 miles per gallon. Wheeler also has a great selection of motorcycles from the Kawasaki, Suzuki, and Kymco. Check out their full inventory at WheelerPowersports.com or check out their showroom in person at 901 North 11th Street near downtown Fort Smith. Wheeler Power Sports, keeping the good times rolling.
Wheels RV wants you to seek out all the natural state has to offer this year. Explore Arkansas in a new RV from Grand Design, Forest River, KZ, Heartland, Keystone, or Alliance. All the best brands at the best prices. Enjoy peace of mind with our lifetime warranty on every new RV and a mobile service shuttle to keep you camping. So come on in and discover why Wheels was voted the best RV dealership in Northwest Arkansas. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off of I-49 in Springdale. Seek, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Chuck Barrett here. I know a thing or two about making great calls in Arkansas. And when it comes to your home service needs, make the call to Pass Paschal Air Plumbing and Electric. Paschal offers plumbing services from simple drain repairs to running all new lines. And right now, you can replace your water heater with a professionally installed system from Paschal. Take $150 off a new traditional water heater or $300 off a tankless system. Paschal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned. Arkansas operated. GoPaschal.com.
Harry Robinson Buick GMC wants to buy your vehicle, and they'll pay top dollar today. Pre-owned car values are at an all-time high, and your car is worth more today than it ever will be again. If you are driving a 2013 model or newer with 120,000 miles or less, bring it to Harry Robinson Buick GMC, and they will pay you more for your trade. Even if you don't want to buy a new car, they will still buy yours. Harry Robinson Buick GMC, exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Hey, City!
I was walking down the street when out the corner of my eye I saw a pretty little thing approaching me. She said, I never seen a man who looks so all alone. Or could you use a little company? If you pay the right price, your evening will be nice and you can go and send me on my way. I said, you're such a sweet young thing, why you do this to yourself? She looked at me and this is what she said. Oh, there ain't no rest for the wicked. Money don't grow on trees.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text into Halftime at 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson.
Grant Hall joining us on Halftime. Appreciate his time on Wednesdays here on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. Grant, what's up? It's some crazy Major League playoff games yesterday. It's a great way to get the division series started. And after the surprise of the road teams having such success in the first round, I guess a little bit back to the normal with the home teams winning 3 out of 4.
Yeah, some exciting finishes, especially that, what was it, 7-6, I guess, 8-7. The Houston Astros were down to 2 outs, down 2 runs, and got a 3-run homer, which had to be a jolt. You know, the Phillies come off beating the Cardinals in 2, and then they beat the Braves, and Harper went 3 for 3, so they got to be feeling pretty good right now.
Yeah. Do you believe in momentum in baseball?
Yeah,
you know, I ask
so.
because Seattle seemed to have all kinds of momentum. You know, and then they take this big lead into the 8th inning and they choke on it. So there really wasn't any momentum because it was a matter of their pitchers couldn't get guys out of the big moments. Phillies carried their momentum, though, into the Braves series, and I don't know if that was a surprise or not.
They used to say the momentum was as good as your next day's starting pitcher, and, you know, it's interesting. Verlander, who's been really good lately and all year, wasn't very good yesterday, but Houston won anyway, so I'm sure Dusty Baker's thrilled about that.
Starting pitching has become devalued in Major League Baseball, at least. So I think we need to change that theory that momentum is really not as good as the next day's starting pitcher. It's probably as good as your next day's second, third, fourth, fifth pitchers that the manager is planning to use. Doesn't that make more sense now?
Yeah, maybe so. Like, you know, Kershaw is going for the Dodgers, and he's been good lately also. And of course, they looked like they were going to win 10-0 last night. They hung on to win 5-3. If anybody stayed up for all of that when they beat San Diego, so I don't know, Phil. I mean, I don't know about you. When your team loses, your enthusiasm diminishes a little bit for the playoffs. But I'll try to get back into it.
I mean, I see where you're going there. Now, I mean, it's a little bit different for somebody like me because as a Pirates fan, I know they're not playing in October, so I can get fired up for games that matter, and obviously they do right now. But I see where you're going with this because, you know, the Cardinals had this ill-fated trip to the first round, the wild card series, and, I mean, they had it right there in front of them in the first game. You know, you hold on to that, you probably win the series. It's just in a best out of 3, when you choke on a 9th-inning lead, and especially the way that went down, and an inability to hit, really, for that team. I guess you could kind of see it coming after the first game.
Yeah, I heard Chuck talking about it yesterday. It sounds like he hasn't quite been talked off the edge yet about how it came out, kind of lashing out this way and that. I think the Cardinals had a good season. They won 93 games. That ninth inning, it was. I think managers are used to just stopping managing in the ninth inning when they have a good closer, and maybe Ollie wasn't quite prepared for what to do when Helsley, who was trying to get a 5-out save, only got 3 outs, and whether or not his finger affected him, who knows? But they kind of got discombobulated there, and I think they probably would have won Game 3. The metrics would have told you they would have had a great chance had they gotten there, but of course they didn't.
So, it sounds like you just said, the Cardinals had a good season. They had a good regular season, but I have the sense you could split things here because, all Cardinal fans, and I think really baseball fans in general, have this incredibly pleasant memory of Albert Pujols in the second half, and I don't think anybody will forget the way that he went out with such an incredible flourish. And that kind of, does that stand apart from anything else that happened for St. Louis, or is this season viewed as a disappointment because of a 2-and-out in the first round?
I think what you said first, Phil, because I have a longtime friend who's in radio in St. Louis. He told me before the season he thought that Albert would probably be released hitting 173 in August. And so, when he was hitting 190-something, you're kind of wondering. And then he ends up with 24 home runs, gets to 700. He told, one of the network guys said last week that Albert had said he thought he could play 3 more years, in which case, who knows, maybe he would be the all-time home run leader. But he also said that's why he announced early, because he didn't want to be tempted to come back, and he was committed to this being it. So the fact he got a hit his last time up was great, even though the ball caromed crazily and cost him a base. Yadier Molina got a hit his last time up, so that part was okay. But, about 5 minutes after the game, I asked when do the pitchers and catchers report for next year.
Well, the Arizona Fall League is in full swing, so you can watch some of those games. Yeah.
By the way, Phil, I'm sorry to interrupt. Did you see Tony La Russa at the Dodgers game last night at age 77?
No, I did not. I did not see. I was unable to stay awake for the late game last night.
Well, I wondered why he was there, and if he, in case it goes poorly for Dave Roberts in what looks like to be a march maybe to the whole thing. They've had such a great year. Does he want another front office job? I know he's had these health issues, but I was kind of surprised to see him there.
To me, I think for La Russa, I think the rest of his baseball career screams special assistant to the general manager somewhere, a ceremonial position more than anything else.
He can't give it up. He's too much of a baseball nerd like we are. Hey, Phil, also, I wanted to mention something about, they're playing football at Lavelle Edwards Stadium this week, and I got to meet Lavelle Edwards in 1974. They used to have this coaches golf tournament, and this particular year, it was Hot Springs Village. And Willie Nelson was there entertaining at night before anybody knew who he was. Darrell Royal brought him, But Lavelle, I remember him he would tell individual coaches about, they would ask how he does, because he was a real pioneer in the passing game. And I remember he coached all-star games, and when he would sort of hold informal seminars on how he was doing what he was doing. And of course, they've changed quite a bit through the years, but that stadium there, I remember one of the comments, someone said, well, you're playing with Lavelle Edwards. And the guy said, that's my wife's name. But that was his name, and he was a good coach. And in 1984, they won the national championship. And I remember Barry Switzer afterwards, after Oklahoma lost to number 4 Washington, he said he was going to vote for Washington for number 1 because they played a tougher schedule. And you may have seen the story this week about Robbie Bosco, talking about how they knew there was just this narrow path. They had to go undefeated and hope other things shook out. And I think if Oklahoma had won the bowl game, they probably would have been number 1 that year.
Yeah, they opened that season unranked, and a win at third-ranked Pitt got them into the top 25 for the rest of the season. And by the end of the year, they beat Michigan in the Holiday Bowl. You imagine that? I mean, I know that we chose national champions in a much different way then than we do now.
Yes.
But the national champion played in the Holiday Bowl in 1984. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, and something like 11 days before some of the other big games, so they had that record out there, and it's sustained for their national championship. So this game, I think, I have thought all year, even before anything else, Phil, was a kind of a fulcrum game. It was going to be a trap game. Now it's different. The Razorbacks have lost 3 in a row like they did last year. And I talked to a Razorback enthusiast last night who thinks Arkansas can still win 5 of the last 6, maybe losing to Ole Miss or something. But I think every game is going to be a dogfight or a hog fight, especially this one. And the other day, Wally Hall wrote that Arkansas was a 2.5-point favorite, and by nightfall 2.5 point underdog, and by nightfall they were a 1.5 point favorite because of the announcement that KJ is going to play. So, but this is where coaches earn their money. When you don't have all your players, you got to kind of figure it out on the fly and cover some situations you weren't expecting. So to me, it's which coaching staff can, because I don't know how much their quarterback is hurt or not, but he's pretty good.
Well, look, I mean, Arkansas never really found their footing against Mississippi State, and I think that was from the start of the game until the very end. And I mean, it's not to bring back bad memories or anything, and this is not the reason Arkansas struggled under Chad Morris, but you never knew who your quarterback was on a week-by-week basis. I mean, you could look to the Alabama game and said it took some time for them to get some footing in the ground. In the third quarter they did, and KJ played great. The fourth quarter, went totally differently, and they couldn't stop long runs. That wasn't necessarily KJ's fault. But when you get not just the starting quarterback back, but your guy, the guy that everybody looks to, and guys on both sides of the ball talk about this, getting him back just hopefully steadies, I won't say everything, because you still know on the defensive side there's so many injuries. We still don't know what the secondary is going to look like, depending on injuries for Slusher and for the 2 Johnsons, Kyrie and Jaden. But like Malik had some moments, but they were just moments, fleeting moments. We saw that talent, but we also saw a little bit of a roller coaster, I think, from Malik.
Yeah,
Getting
we saw
back is huge. It's the most important thing that can happen.
I agree. I mean, we saw, despite all the good things Hornsby did, he did have 2 interceptions out of 17 throws. But I think they can maybe have a package again for him and spring him in there, maybe do certain things, even with K. Who knows how the game will go. But I think it's going to be quite interesting. And the other interesting thing about it is the 4,500-foot altitude, and people have gone out there before and talked about it. Remember, Eddie Sutton one time took his basketball team and lost to a sort of ordinary BYU team out there and talked about, hey, you need to go out there 2 days early to adjust and all this kind of stuff. So they'll be dealing with that also.
Well, it sounds like they're going to be drinking a ton of water, and maybe that'll help with all of that, because they're only going the day ahead of the game. I'm not even sure if the team's going to be spending, just a little more than 24 hours out there in Utah. But I mean, you don't want to go into the bye week with a 4-game losing streak. That's not a way to spend a week off trying to figure out how you're going to turn things around again and basically make it a full month of losing and then another week to think about it. Like, people ask about the team's mindset. I think the mindset coming into this week is win pretty please. Find a way to do it, because we don't want to have a 4th in a row going into the bye.
Yeah, that's right. Just quickly, Phil, you'll probably cover this at some point, but the red-white game is going to be interesting on Sunday. And I noticed today that Nick Smith is like a top 5 projected pick. Anthony Black, Jordan Walsh, Trevon Brazile, and Ricky Council, all these guys with professional potential. If fans haven't seen this team, they're gonna really enjoy the show, I think, on Sunday afternoon. Not that we're giving up on football season or anything. During the Chad Morris years, some of the Bielema years, is like basketball started earlier and earlier. But they are going to be out there they're going to be there on Sunday playing.
Well, I worry a little, and I know, fans are going to have to be there in order to see it because we saw yesterday that they're not able to do a telecast. I think there's some sort of internet outage going on campus, but it was funny, like all the hype about football in the month leading into the start of the season. Of course, the hype lasted longer because you started 3-0, but that was when the basketball team took their European trip. And I mean, they didn't really treat it like this, but it was almost like, hey, all this hype about football, don't forget about us. We actually are one of the most hyped teams in the country. And going into the bye week to have the red-white game right there at the start of the bye week is sort of like, yeah, hey, we're coming up too.
With 29 out of 30 NBA teams there to see their pro day, and the only one that didn't, the Timberwolves, is because they don't have a draft pick next year. So Eric doesn't miss a trick, man. They did studies on what all to do and how to show everybody during that, so he doesn't miss much.
It seems Muss has been to like all other 49 states visiting the pro teams and college teams visiting with coach. He's been everywhere, man, picking up what he can from whomever that he respects. It's not just talking to, Johnny on the street or whatever, but I mean, he's there with Brandon Staley in Los Angeles. He's visiting the Chiefs and Andy Reid. I mean, we know Muss is everywhere on social media, but there's a purpose to it. He's really going to try to learn things to transpose what other teams are doing to see if it works with his team.
Yeah, it's not true that he sold road maps to Marco Polo. He's not, and the funny thing is he looks about 20 years younger than he actually is. Maybe all this is a constant activity. Maybe that's the key.
Well, he definitely has that kind of energy, no doubt about that. Hopefully we can all look 20 years younger than we really are if we keep that sort of energy alive. Grant, appreciate you, man. Sorry about the Cardinals, sort of, but, they'll be back. They'll be back.
Right around the corner, spring training. Can't wait.
Right around 2 or 3 corners because middle of February, what is that, November, December, January, 4 months away. You know what? You're right. It is kind of right around the corner. So that perks me up a little bit. Very nice.
Good.
And once the baseball
season,
you got it, man. Once the baseball season starts, and heck, since it's college football season, NFL, NBA opening days are really right around the corner. Go to BetUS.com, and you'll get a sign-up bonus of up to 200%. BetUS, offering members to cash in on all your favorite sports. Go to BetUS.com or call 1-800-79-BET-US. It is where the game begins. Open up the phone lines, 877-377-6963. We'll come back with more halftime.
It started as a dream, and here you are. It's moving day. But wait, isn't moving supposed to be stressful? Oh, that's right. You bought your home using Weichert Realtors. Your Weichert agent guided you from start to finish to help make sure we found you your perfect place. Dream, move, home, Weichert. Call your local Weichert Realtors office today and make your move. And look for our bright yellow signs. At Weichert Realtors, we sell more because we do more. Each Weichert franchised office is independently owned and operated.
The new Lotto game from the Arkansas Scholarship Lottery is creating new traditions for our players, like Mike from Bentonville.
33? Okay, got it. 34. Nope. What about 35? Okay, that's all 6 numbers. Who's a good boy?
Your numbers, your game. Play Lotto every Wednesday and Saturday for your chance to match 6 and get rich. Only $2 per play. Call or text 1-800-522-4700 for Problem Gambling Helpline.
Fall archery season is here, and Jelco Outdoors has all the gear for you. Ladder stands, hang-on stands, climbing stands, tree saddles, lots of hunting boots, camo, and clothing, compound bows, crossbows, recurve bows, broadheads, cover scents, deer lures, hunting knives, headlamps, insect repellents, binoculars, rangefinders, game cameras, backpacks, and blinds. Jelco has it all for you. Remember, a great hunt begins at Jelco Outdoors, 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith.
Hardee's new Charbroiled Double Deals, starting at $2.99 each, have the Academy for New Offerings hailing this double cheeseburger deal as very new indeed. How much more new does it get than the new Bacon Double Cheeseburger and the new California Classic Double Cheeseburger? Not much newer than that. Well, I've got news for the Academy. After this, I'm getting myself a double cheeseburger from this new deal. The new Charbroiled Double Deal starting at $2.99 each at Hardee's. Feed your happy. Tax not included for a limited time. Price and participation may vary. Visit restaurant or app for details.
You know, fall in the natural state really is the best. Football, fantastic weather, and some of the country's most beautiful scenery. At Rath Auto Resources, we love fall because prices are falling on all of our Rath Road-ready vehicles, making this the time to save on your nicer, newer car. And it's so easy. Just call, click, or come by. Let one of our friendly, non-commissioned solution specialists do all the work. It's their job to help you find just the right car, get you extra for your trade, take care of all the financing, and make sure you leave in a car of your dreams at a price and payment that fits your budget. If you're keeping the car you have, let us take care of it for you in our Meineke Car Care Center. Philip and his team know how to take care of your car. More importantly, they know how to take care of you with convenient, affordable total car care and savings like half off brakes and buy 3 get 1 free on all tires. Why wait? Start enjoying your fall now in a nicer, newer car from Arkansas's favorite used car dealer, Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith, or online, rathauto.com.
This is Bruce Stanton, Vice President and General Manager of Pradco Fishing in Fort Smith. Our #1 volume lure out of our 20 fishing brands is the Bobby Garland Baby Shad. We make them by the millions in our facility in Fort Smith, and the Baby Shad is without a doubt the #1 soft plastic crappie lure in the U.S. Fish it on a light jig head or underneath a float, and you'll find it's as productive as live bait. Available at Walmart, Bass Pro Shops, Academy, LureNet.com, and tackle stores all over the place. The Bobby Garland Baby Shad.
Call the Hogs with head coach Sam Pittman and the top 25 ranked Razorbacks this season.
Touchdown, Arkansas!
Single game tickets are on sale now for late season marquee matchups inside Razorback Stadium against SEC rivals LSU and Ole Miss, and a homecoming matchup with Liberty. Witness the next great Razorback moment by securing your seat for the biggest games before they're gone at ArkansasRazorbacks.com or call 800-982-HOGS.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Hey, Surrey!
Well, I'm an animal, something like a cannibal, a very flammable and partially programmable. Centuries of overuse, now I wear it nice and loose.
Make sure to follow Halftime on Twitter at HitThatLineAR and on Facebook and Instagram at HitThatLine. Follow Phil on Twitter at PhilElsonPXP. Now back to Halftime with Phil Elson.
Swatted to right, 4 consecutive 2-out hits, and a 2-0 lead for Philadelphia. Alec Boehm drives in Bryce Harper. Castellanos getting his chance on the big stage and coming through with his 3rd hit of the game. 1 run is in. Here comes another 2-run single, Nick Castellanos. And the Phillies do it again with 2 out. They lead the Braves 6-1.
And the pitch. Swung on, line towards right field. Coming on, Castellanos still coming. He dives, and he got it! Oh. Nick Castellanos with a full-out dive has made the catch in right field for the 2nd out.
Just kind of looking, I was like, thank God I caught that ball. You know, just they obviously had a big point in the game right there with, you know, putting them within 1. So to be able to catch that and have 2 outs and nobody on base, I mean, it was huge.
2 balls and a strike.
And Bregman sends one deep into left center field. This is way back, and it is gone. Alex Bregman gets the Astros off the deck. A 2-run blast makes it a 2-run game. Alvarez launches deep right field, and this one is gone. And the Astros walk them off in game 1. Yordan Alvarez! Are you kidding me?
Boy, that was probably one of the most exciting games that I've been a part of. Man, that was unbelievable.
Now here comes the payoff pitch. Swung on, hit in the air to left field. That ball is high, it is far, it is gone to tie the game. his first Yankee home run. Oh, I'm just wild about Harry. Harry, he homers to left center, and the Yankees tie the game at 1.
A high drive to right. Back goes Gonzalez. To the wall. It's out of here. Spike Lee loving it. Yankee dugout loving it. Sellout crowd loving it. Quantrill not so much. 4-1 New York.
You know, those big moments guys on, you got to find a way to get that guy out and give the team a chance to win. It was going to be hard to score runs today no matter what.
Here's Trey Turner. And Turner lifts one to deep left field. Ranging back is Profar, and it's a 1-0 start for the Dodgers. The top 5 home run hitting team has its first of the postseason. This is exactly what the Padres were hoping to avoid, the early surge from LA. On the ground, pitch to the left side, base hit. Here comes Will Smith to make it a 2-0 LA lead in the first.
What a day of baseball it was yesterday. Wall to wall, right from 1 o'clock in the afternoon until he went to bed. That was a lot of fun getting that going yesterday. 2 games left today. Only the National League will take center stage. Yordan Alvarez with so far the biggest moment of the Major League postseason with the walk-off home run off of Robbie Ray. We'll get into some stuff about Ray later on in our first hour reset. Alvarez drives in 5 runs in the game, and Houston stuns the Mariners with 5 runs in the final 2 innings to beat them 8-7. Can the Mariners bounce back from that one? We have seen it's awfully difficult after you choke not just on a lead, but a big lead, to be able to bounce back and find a way to win a game the next time out, especially against a team that is as good as the Astros are. The biggest surprise, though, wasn't just the Braves losing to the Phillies. It was how it went down with Max Fried just basically laying an egg. Fried, who's been really good in the postseason for the Braves these last few years, didn't make it out of the 4th inning. Philadelphia scored multiple runs in 3 of the first 4 frames, got up 7-1 and withstand the comeback from the Braves with that catch that you heard by Nick Castellanos in the bottom of the 9th inning, helping out Zach Eflin close that game down after Eflin had allowed a 3-run homer. Castellanos, who came over from the Reds as a free agent, has not been what the Phillies thought he was going to be in the regular season. It doesn't matter, though, right now. It does not matter, though, right now, because he led them to that game 1 win yesterday over the Braves. So wall-to-wall baseball yesterday, not quite the same today. Say, though, really the 2 games that were later on in the evening, the Yankees win over the Guardians, the Dodgers beating the Padres, a little bit more formulaic. You see where Garrett Cole had some struggles early in the game against the Guardians in the 3rd inning. He allowed a home run by Stephen Kwan. You remember, I think Kwan played for, was he with the Oregon State Beavers? You bet he was. He was their second baseman. Not a power hitter. Took advantage of that short porch in right field to notch that home run. And Cole barely made it out of that inning, loading the bases. Saw an umpire just completely blow. It looked like a 3rd strike on a breaking ball. Jordan Baker was the plate umpire, but Cole was able to wiggle out of it and complete 6 1/3. Pretty solid inning, so a bit more of a formulaic win there for the Yankees as they get the tie-breaking home run in the 6th inning, and then the Dodgers just basically let it wire to wire against the Padres, and not a lot of drama in that ball game. So the road teams were the dominant teams in the wild card round, and we got the home teams doing a little bit more of the winning in round number 2. And there'll be a little bit more on the on what happened yesterday and what we're looking ahead for as we go throughout our the end of our first hour. You might have seen Grant mention it in the last segment, the red-white game on Sunday at Barnhill Arena. We got an email yesterday, I think it was when the show was over, and the email stated that due to, quote, unforeseen circumstances, unquote, there would be no telecast of the red-white game. Initially, It was supposed to be on SEC Network Plus. And after you had to pay to watch the team out in Europe on Flow Sports, it was nice to know that as long as you had your subscription to ESPN and your cable subscription, you'd be able to just log on and watch the red-white game, because the truth of the matter is that's probably going to be a tougher game than just about every one of the non-conference games. We're pretty close to it. It's exactly why the men's team, why Muss and the coaching staff invited in all these pro scouts to watch these guys, because watching them go up against each other, NBA prospects playing against NBA prospects and also doing NBA-style drills, what Muss said, that might tell the scouts a little bit more than, what happens against some of the other teams that Arkansas does have scheduled in the non-conference portion of the season. But you won't be able to watch – you didn't get to watch Pro Day outside of just some of the highlights that the TV stations and websites put up, and you won't be able to watch the red-white game either. And I kind of wondered, what were these unforeseen circumstances? Because it's not a matter that you don't have Barnhill Arena wired for television. All the events that occur inside Barnhill Arena are usually on SEC Network Plus. Gymnastics always does make it there. Volleyball, too. So it's not a matter that Barnhill isn't wired for television. And there were two things. One thing I sent out, I was like, well, who's doing the game? Usually Matt Zimmerman would be there, but Zim's going to be in Provo with football, part of our pregame show, and also standing behind Chuck as his number one spotter, and then I'm spotting for Z for the most part. Wondered who would do play-by-play. It wasn't going to be me. Wasn't going to be Chuck. And I don't know where Brett Dolan is this weekend, but I don't think that's what it is, because earlier in the day there had been an email sent just to the media members just reminding them that if they wanted to ask questions or get any sound or any video at all from Sunday's post-red-white game presser, they'd have to do it in person, that there would not be a Zoom press conference, which has become industry standard just about. I know for Arkansas it's become industry standard to have an in-person press conference that is Zoomed at the same time, and sometimes it's just the people that are in person can ask questions, but there is no Zoom available, and the reason was put in parentheses that there apparently are some campus-wide internet outages. That's got to be the reason why there's no telecast on Sunday. Now, I don't know what the situation is with the internet provider at the University of Arkansas, but we know for a fact there is an internet provider up in Northwest Arkansas that starts with the letter C, ends with the letter X, that also, does something that sometimes would end on the letter X. It sucks sometimes. Maybe that's the situation. I don't know. But could you imagine if internet-wide campus-wide internet outages would somehow find a way to affect a regular season game or a football game? No, sir. You bet your bottom dollar it wouldn't affect it at all, because there wouldn't be any internet outages on a weekend when there's a football game or a regular season men's basketball game. But it's just too bad. I guess we're just going to have to hope and pray that there's somebody at the game with a phone that can video it and put it on Twitch or social media, and then see just how long people are able to watch it before the police, well, not the real police, the athletic department police, come and take that sucker's phone away. All right, quick break on halftime. We'll come back, wrap up the first hour with a reset.
It's a crazy world we're living in, and I just can't see that half of us immersed in sin is all we have to give these futures made of virtual insanity now always seem
to. Video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building quality fencing and gates, is looking for quality people to join the Fence Man team. If you are a fence builder or have building or welding experience, apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man offers great pay and a $500 sign-on bonus. Join the top fence building team and get a $500 sign-on bonus. The Fence Man. Apply today in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man is an equal opportunity employer.
Now that's a dandy white perch. Big old slab.
C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappies.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to wager on all your favorite sports, contests, and events with first-to-market odds and lines. Find reviews and news for every league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all your sports information, from live in-game betting, props, and futures. Head to BetOnline today or use your mobile device to join today and make your first sports bet. Use our promo code BELIEVE50 to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's BELIEVE, BLEAV 50. That's BELIEVE, BLEAV 50. Bet online, where the game starts.
Ed Sheeran used to sing in the church choir, but now bad habits reveal his desire. The old saying goes, sow a thought, reap an action. Sow an action, reap a habit. Sow a habit, reap a character. Sow a character, reap a destiny. God knows you can't overcome. That's why the faith that saves is trusting what Jesus has already done. There's nothing else you can say or use or do. Bad habits lead to doom. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Think about it.
Sometimes wounds just don't heal, and when they don't, reach out to the Tulsa Wound Center. They provide chronic wound care using all the latest technologies such as hyperbaric oxygen therapy, shockwave therapy, skin substitutes, and more. When it comes to life and limb, experience matters. Make sure you are being seen and treated by an experienced and certified wound physician. Founder and medical director Dr. Lam Lee has been a prominent wound care and hyperbaric physician for over 15 years. 10,000 patients can't be wrong. Online at tulsawoundcenter.com or call 918-561-6661.
Searching for the best UTV on the market but can't find it with any of the big name brands? That's where the Intimidator comes in. An American brand using American-made steel and built in Arkansas. Intimidator UTVs offer premium components as standard, unlike those other companies. Items such as doors, skid plates, heavy-duty frames, and comfortable seating, all at one comparable price. See why Intimidator UTVs are the best choice by visiting your local dealer, Horns Outdoor in Hot Springs, or visit hornsoutdoor.net.
Hi, I'm Mike Van Jr. with Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. You can count on my team to provide top quality pressure washing and exterior cleaning services for your property.
What all do you service?
Fence washing, gutter, or deep concrete cleaning for your home, commercial business, and more.
Do you have insurance?
Absolutely. We're covered with liability insurance, and we also use safe and effective wash methods, leaving your home or business looking brand new.
I guess I need to go to your website, mjmobilewash.com.
Or just give me a call at 479-763-5561.
Thatline.com or your ESPN Arkansas radio station. Find Halftime on 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith in the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs in Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Now back to the host. Here's Phil Elson.
Halftime. So let's get right into the end of the first hour with a reset.
Refresh, reset, the great reset.
It's time for the Halftime Reset, giving you all the info and facts you need to make it through the rest of your day in sports.
False start, both teams back on the get back here.
Now, here's Phil Elson with your Halftime Reset.
3 of Eric Musselman's former Razorbacks squared off yesterday in NBA preseason basketball action. Couple of them in the same game last night. Jalen Williams and Stanley Umude faced off against each other in Oklahoma City and Detroit in the preseason games. Jalen only saw the floor for 8 minutes. Thunder were +5 with him on the court. He did not score. J. Will did grab a couple of the rebounds and added a steal. Stanley Amude played 14 minutes in the game for the Pistons, scored 7 points, grabbed 2 rebounds. Thunder won the game 115-99. Moses Moody led Golden State with 20 points in 23 minutes as the Warriors crushed Portland 131-98 in another exhibition game. Moses finished 6 for 12 from the field. He added 3 3-pointers, made 5 of 6 free throws, also added an assist, 2 steals, and a block. The Warriors did play without Stephon Curry, Andrew Wiggins, Andre Iguodala, Klay Thompson, Jordan Poole, and, of course, there was no Draymond Green either. Bob from Hot Springs texted in an update on this internet situation going on at the University of Arkansas. And I guess this is because it's not just a football weekend or a football road weekend, but it's also fall break. So this is coming right from an email from the University of Arkansas Internet Technology Services. I guess that would be Information Technology Services, which is all internet anyway. October 16th, there are planned outages scheduled requiring extended downtime for campus internet and several online services from 4 in the morning until 11:59 p.m., being very, very succinct with this, at 11:59 and not a minute later. This is in order to install new equipment in some of the other buildings, campus data center, parking and transit located there too. So that's because there's no football and also because it's fall break. I guess there's just not a lot of people using the internet at the University of Arkansas this upcoming weekend. So again, no red-white telecast. We do not have it on the Razorback Sports Network, so there'll be no radio broadcast of the red-white game either. So you can basically just kick it around in your mind a little bit. I would assume that there would be a stat broadcast, so there would be a live stat you could keep up with if that's the direction you'd want to go. But, of course, plenty of the media organizations and online publications will have some video available as well, and that's the best we can do for you. I think the Texas exhibition is going to be broadcast on the Longhorn Network, and I believe we're planning to have it on the Razorback Sports Network as of now. That very well could change. So we're getting into the second hour of halftime. Calls and texts at 877-377-6963. And BE is already putting money on red to beat white. I'm not taking any bets on that one, BE. You can gamble with yourself on that one. And we're into the second hour of halftime after this.
For a dependable, fuel-efficient tractor from a company committed to the future, choose a Branson tractor. Each of our tractors is backed by a 6-year limited warranty with models available ranging in horsepower from 22 to 58. You are sure to find the tractor that is right for you. Make sure you call or stop in today at the new location for Bush Tractor at 6100 South 0 Street in Fort Smith. Again, that is 6100 South 0 Street in Fort Smith. Or you can check them out online at bushtractor.com.
Riley Farm Dental at the entrance to Riley Farms provides every type of dental care and procedures for you and your family. From general dentistry, braces, implants, and cosmetics, Dr. Bo Sparkman and Dr. Brogan give all of their patients better lives with a better smile, more confidence, and a comfortable experience every time. Riley Farm Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A, at the entrance to Riley Farms. Call 226-3500 for an appointment or visit RileyFarmDental.com.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Watch every Hog game this season at Joe's Grill and Cantina, your home for half-price apps and taps during every Hog game. With TVs all around the restaurant, you'll have a front row seat for all the action. Half-price appetizers like Joe's Sampler Platter, Ballpark Nachos, 10-layer dip, brisket nachos, and Mexican pizza. And ask about Joe's tailgate packages to make your football experience even better in the comfort of your home. Half-price apps and taps for every Hog game at Joe's Grill and Cantina, 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps.
With over 8,000 square feet of all the latest trends in lighting and plumbing fixtures, Great House Fixtures has all the brands you know and love, such as Visual Comfort Lighting and Delta Faucets. Their experienced staff can help you design and select the perfect fixtures for your uniquely you home, including sinks, tubs, faucets, custom showers, indoor and outdoor lighting, chandeliers, mirrors, hardware, and more. Make your house a great house. Learn more at greathousefixtures.com, located on 0th Street in Fort Smith. Great House Fixtures by J&B Supply.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, lots of sunshine, a chance of showers, a few thunderstorms, especially early. Our high this afternoon will be in the upper 70s north, mid 80s south. We'll start to dry things out, cool things down, upper 40s north tonight, right around the low 50s south. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Carco Auto Sales. Give them a call at 783-1722 or check them out online at buyfromcarco.com.
Good station.
KERX Paris Fort Smith. This is Halftime, coming at you from the Bushlight Studios on ESPN 95.3. Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that doesn't respect you.
Live from the Bushlight Studios.
Don't ask me if I'm all right. Joaquin said dominate, and we not doing it.
We're going to go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Hell yeah! We got 30 minutes for the rest of our lives.
I said you had very motivational words at halftime.
Hold your own, hold your own, hold your own, hold your own.
It's Halftime with Phil Elson, produced by Matt Travis.
I'm putting my heart up. Let's go, man.
Probably as frustrated as I've been the first half. Second half, very happy.
Do we believe? Yes, sir. 30 minutes for the rest of our lives. Hold your own, hold your own. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Turn that down, pure
Now, here's Phil Elson.
And the red-white game on Sunday, right at the start of the bye week. To remind you that for all the hype and expectations and excitement that went into the start of the football season, you probably are going to take that hype and the expectations and just kick it all the way up past 11, probably up to 12 or 13, because with the roster that Muss has put together, this certainly does seem to be a team that is built to last in March and maybe built to last into April. Muss spoke with the media yesterday, and here he is talking about the red-white game and a little bit of a warning, it sounds, to his team about their conditioning.
So, yeah, I mean, I think with all, what we want is, 13 scholarship guys, the 2 walk-ons. We want, incredible intensity in practice, and we're still trying to have those numbers climb from where they are. We had to stop practice yesterday and pull out, a 3-minute Dallas Mavericks conditioning drill that Jason Kidd does with his players based on position. And we'll continue to do more and more conditioning drills this late into what we've considered training camp. Still not satisfied at all with the physical condition of 4 to 6 players that need to get in better condition prior to our first game.
Well, they do have about 3 weeks to be properly conditioned for North Dakota State, but that also, there are 3 games before that, and of course they're all exhibitions, but they're also, I think, in the mindset of the coaching staff and the mindset of the players in and of themselves. They are exhibitions. They don't count in the standings. They won't count in your statistics and everything, and nobody's really going to be talking about, you remember what happened against Rogers State and all of that? But these things matter in the context of the team itself, and there's no doubt about that. So not too much time to get themselves into the shape that's necessary. And, you remember that we expect that this is a team that maybe goes to a deeper rotation than we've seen than the 7 players that basically have been the rotation for Eric Musselman, 6 to 7 players in the last couple of years. With all the talent here and the height and where these guys came from too, where they got plenty of minutes in some cases from the 4-year transfers. You got to be as ready to go right now. Right now, I mean, establish yourself in that rotation as early as you possibly can, and force Muss to basically make his decision for you. Now, there are players that you just expect are going to be in this rotation no matter what, and those are the true freshmen that are coming in that are the potential one-and-dones. Anthony Black, Nick Smith Jr., Jordan Walsh. I think you'll see Black and Smith on the floor maybe more than anybody else. And you kind of wonder, outside of that, you got Ricky Council, the 4th. This is an incredibly explosive, exciting guard who can get to the rim. I think he's going to be in that rotation. For all the talk about Trayvon Brazile, the transfer out of Missouri, I don't see any way he's not in that rotation on a game-by-game basis. Jalen Graham coming out of Arizona State, a senior transfer. That's somebody I'd expect to be in the rotation too, along with Devontae Davis, who's the grizzled old veteran for this team, the fact that he's playing in his 3rd year under Eric Musselman. So then where are the players who kind of have to scratch and claw and fight their way? And it's not to say the other guys aren't going to scratch and claw and fight during practice to make that rotation. It's just a matter that their talent will outshine some of the heavy efforts from some of the others. And they came here to play, not to sit. And I think Muss brought them here to play, not to sit. So I think you're looking at, I wonder about Kamani Johnson. Kamani Johnson has been one of the attitude players on this team for a couple of years now. And you know what you get with Kamani, a guy that's going to rebound, play defense really hard, play with a mentality of just being tough. And hopefully you see guys feed off of that at times. But is Kamani Johnson going to get run over Jalen Graham, who's got more ability to score and I think is bigger and stronger, but is a first-year guy with a program that's going to be the only year he plays? The Mitchell twins, Makai and Mikkel, both play virtually the same position you'll see from Kamani, at power forward or at center. It might be difficult for Kamani to get on the court on a game-by-game basis, but we'll be seeing. On Sunday, everybody's going to be out there playing. I mean, you got your 15 players, 13 scholarships, 2 walk-ons, and it will be. This is going to be a much tougher game than when Arkansas plays against Rogers State. This is tough. Is it tougher than going on the road to Texas? I don't know too much about the Texas roster just yet, but I know that they'll have a really good team, and you got a great coaching staff there, and I know the fan base will show up in Austin because they're opening up that new building. But you look through the rest of the season here, and I mean, Arkansas opens up with North Dakota State, Fordham, South Dakota State. Decent programs in their own right, but there's probably not too many players on those 3 teams that would get all that much playing time at Arkansas. You go to the Maui Invitational, and it's a different story. Louisville, Texas Tech, Creighton, those are the toughest games Arkansas's got outside of Oklahoma in the regular season on the non-conference schedule. And then, of course, Baylor, too, in the Big 12 Challenge. So it's why you end up doing a pro day, because these guys playing against each other is going to be tougher than anywhere else. Texts are coming in, 877-377-6963 for calls and for texts. Robin Waldron says he hasn't been impressed with Walsh. And I don't know. I mean, what have you seen? What have you had a chance to see about Jordan Walsh? 4 games in Europe do not tell anybody what a player is about, because it's just not necessarily tough competition. And it's also, I mean, look, the way that I think those games were treated, it's not like they took them it's not like they lacked a serious mentality about it, but they were frolicking around on the beach and the ocean, before the game, practicing on a hardtop basketball court that was right there on the beach. I think it's a different mindset once you get into the regular portion of what Musk called preseason camp. I don't know how anybody right now, outside of the coaches and the players in and of themselves, who would really know what's going on as far as that's concerned. We've got some media members that have been at practice and have written about it. But I don't know what you've had your eyes on, Rob, so tell me what you've seen. What is it about Jordan Walsh that you have not been impressed with yet? I'd probably listen a little bit more about that in a month and a half after he's been on the court a lot. And then again, you got to remember that even in their first years at Arkansas, neither Devontae Davis nor Jalen Williams were really all that impressive or really factored into the rotation very much. And then the very same year, a couple months later, they became every game starters and two of the most important players on a team that ended up going to the Elite Eight. So I'm not ready to be disappointed with anybody on this men's basketball team or the women's basketball team either. They haven't played a game yet. They have not played a game yet. So I don't exactly know where the disappointment can fall from. Stan in Glenwood wanted to know about expectations of the Arkansas women's basketball team this year. Well, I mean, losing Amber Ramirez, who I don't think Amber was just a three-point shooter. She turned herself into a much more complete player this last year, and I think she also was an emotional leader for the team and also in a vocal way. It's one area where I'm just kind of wondering where the leadership will come from. You do have a couple of the players who are returning in Samara Spencer and Michaela Daniels who are leaders. Michaela is a little more of a quiet leader, but she does her leading just by the way she plays, which is balls to the wall and hard on the floor and gives everything she possibly can. The two leaders for this team are Spencer and Daniels. Sam, I think, could be a little bit more of a vocal leader, but last year as a freshman, I think she let her playing do more of the talking. And the rest of the team that Nabes has built, I think Saylor Poffenberger could be a huge scorer for this team this year. Her talent, I think, will stand apart. Just somebody that played at UConn with the size at 6'2", good shooting ability. She plays guard at 6'2". This is where this team, I think, is different than other years where you have tall guards like Saylor Poffenberger. Jersey Wolfenbarger will now be playing the position that I think she was brought in to play. She's not going to be playing the 5 any longer. She'll be there playing guard, and that's exactly what she was brought in to do. She played out of position last year. So getting Jersey to a place where she's more comfortable, I think will pay huge dividends for the team. And then, the fact that she did play the 5 last year, I'd be interested to see how she's able to use some of those skills even at guard. You can imagine a 6'5" guard posting up. Love to see her get a chance to do that. Adding Miriam Dowda to the roster after sitting out last year due to the knee injury. Dowda is going to be a huge rim protector, a strong defender, and somebody that, again, it's another sort of player that you haven't had there in a long time, a true rim-protecting center in Dowda at 6'4", and then bringing in a tough-nosed shooting guard like Chrissy Carr, I think will pay some dividends as well. So it ought to be pretty interesting. 877-377-6963 for calls and texts. We've got Charlie on hold first here. Hey, Charlie, you're on halftime. How you doing, man? What's up?
What's up? Can you hear me good?
I got you perfect, loud and clear.
Well, let me tell you, if I ever text in one day and say that I'm not impressed with someone and I don't put a reason behind it, you and Maddie have I'm giving you guys permission to call 911. Because if I don't give a reason behind why I'm going to say,
well, Charlie, hold on just one moment. Charlie, I did get a text from Rob. He says he was talking about high school. He watched several of Jordan Walsh's high school games.
Oh, so he watched all of his high school games. Okay, well, let me say this. I'm gonna disagree with him. I think we're looking at a guy. First off, the kid is 18, 19 years old, and we all know in basketball sometimes you're looking at. It's kind of like baseball. These kids are coming in at 18, 19 years old, and they're going pro because they're so talented they're projecting the fact that they may wind up doing so many things. I see a guy that is going to be an unbelievable defender. What's he not impressed with? His scoring ability? Okay, he may not be the most natural scorer yet. He may not be. I've heard that he is pretty good with the ball in his hands. He can rebound. He's got to be able to defend 1 through 5, which we all know that's what Muss likes, the type of guys that he likes. I mean, we're talking about a guy that, in my opinion, along with Nick Smith and Anthony Black, are going to be, in my opinion, all three possibly top 15 picks. So that's his opinion. I mean, I guess everybody can have an opinion. I'm not trying to.
Well, I just really wanted to know where what it was that he wasn't impressed with. I mean, you couldn't have seen anything that he's done at Arkansas yet. I mean, if he's saying that it was from watching his high school games, then I mean, and it's a matter of opinion for him, yeah. But also what you see in the high school games, that's something that happened, months ago. And I mean, he's being coached differently now, and who knows? Maybe some of those things that Rob didn't like will be things that he does like once the college games begin.
Well, I just don't like those. I'm sorry, Phil. I didn't mean to get all upset. The passion came out of me. I'm pulling up. What's that guy's name?
Is this
Cody?
an angry Charlie? I couldn't quite tell, man. You don't sound that angry.
No, I just don't like the negativity sometimes, man, from fans. He just eats at me like it's like what Cody said. Like, you can't just point out one thing with this football team. It's just that it's a little bit of everything that's causing them to, fall to 3-3. And obviously the injuries are a big thing, but it's not just one thing. And it just irritates me because people like to grab their finger and just point at certain little things, and it's never that. And football is the ultimate team sport. But back to Jordan Walsh, you changed my, like I was going to even talk about football today, but you've been talking about basketball, and I'm so excited about this team. Muss has talked about the whole charting thing, and when you got 6 freshmen, everybody's going to know if they're not playing, why are they not playing? And you even said it, Devo and Jay Will, they didn't start playing until the end of the year, and they helped us make that elite run. So people need to understand, don't worry, what are we in? What month are we in, Phil? I forget. October?
Yeah, it's the middle of October, Charlie.
Yes, I thought it was Tuesday yesterday. I mean, not yesterday, but today. So I'm trying to get my days right, too, because I've had a long week already. But today is Wednesday, by the way. I think.
You had a long week already and you thought it was Tuesday? I can't imagine that Monday was that long. It felt like 5 days.
Well, anyway, I'm fixing to get off here, but my point is, I trust Muss, and he's going to figure it out. It's the same thing every year. They may have some early moments where everybody's scratching their head, turnovers, missing shots, this and that. But you said it. We think about some of the teams he's taken to the Elite Eight. In my opinion, that team last year, I don't see how they made it to the Elite Eight, but they did it because they played so hard. They defended, they rebounded. This talent that he has now, if he can get them to do that, sky's the limit. And like you said, it's going to take time to figure everything out. And I do think they'll wind up with a deeper rotation. But, hey, I trust Muss because I'm on the bus. I trust the Muss bus all day. Yeah, you guys have a good one. Maddie, I was looking at your Facebook, man. I thought you were the one that got married the other day, and I'm like, what the heck? I thought he wasn't getting married till later. And that Matt Jenkins
No, I still got a few months. Yeah, it was SmackDown.
He looks like you. I was like, what the heck? And I was confused. So, anyway.
We could be brothers.
All right. You guys have a good one.
It's like he said, he's had a long week. Next up on halftime. By the way, I view what Rob is talking is more skepticism, I think, than negativity. After 3 losses in a row for a football team, I don't blame people for looking for an answer, for wondering, why is this happening? And if you are trying to assign blame to it as well, I mean, I think that's human nature as well. Robert in Fort Smith is up next. Hey, Robert, how you doing, man? Congrats on your Dodgers win yesterday.
We jumped out quick, and hopefully we do. But now you know how I am with Kershaw on the playoffs. I don't trust him. Now, I know he does real good. He's 12-3, but playoffs come, he's shaky. He always has.
Well, you would have trusted Verlander yesterday, right? And he stunk.
I know, but we'll just have to see. But then, real quick too, Barnhill, where they're going to have. We can't even get to watch that game because we can't get a signal because ESPN Plus was supposed to have it. How does that happen? I mean, you've been in that business and you know how.
I got into it in the first hour, Robert. Here's what happened. It's there's a campus-wide internet outage because of fall break on Sunday. That's the only reason why you can't televise it, because there's no internet.
All right. I get it. So it's just crazy. 2022 and in the middle of campus, and you can't even get a signal or whatever.
Hey, I'm with you, man. I mean, it's like you couldn't have just one little piece of internet. We couldn't have like one little internet brick to get the television broadcast off. All you need is one. I don't know. I'm not a TV producer. Now that I think of it too, it's like who's going to be keeping the stat broadcast if you don't have internet? Everything runs off internet now. How can you even have a basketball game without it? How can you run the scoreboard without this? It's like the world is falling apart. No internet.
We'll see what the Dodgers. I'm glad the Braves lost because I really don't want to play them if we make it this far. But Braves are hot. But we'll see what happens. You have a good one.
I still think they'll be playing the Braves. We'll see about that. Thanks, Robert. Appreciate your phone call. Break in a moment. Halftime brought to you by our friends at Ouachita Farms. You've probably tried Lark recently at your tailgate or watch party, and if you haven't, you need to give it a try because you can catch a buzz with no booze. There's no alcohol in Lark. There is the right balance of hemp-derived THC and CBD, and it tastes great. Strawberry guava, mango, grapefruit, and berry. How do they make it taste that good with no sugar, no carbs, and no calories? Well, find out for yourself by visiting larkhemp.com. They can ship it right to your doorstep, but you'll find Lark at one of over 200 locations across Arkansas. You got to be 21 years or older to consume Lark. And we've got Alyssa Orange from Pig Trail Nation joining halftime next.
Hey Arkansas fans, this is JD with JD's River Valley Restoration and Detail. We're hogs through and through and we like getting dirty, but our cars need to look clean and fresh, and that's where we come in. Come and check out our brand new expanded shop at 5606 Towson Avenue, or you can follow us on Facebook at JD's River Valley Restoration for new updates including food trucks on the lot, car shows, detail courses, and much, much more. Give us a call at 479-629-7486. We're open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. JD's River Valley Restoration, where we're making new relationships one vehicle at a time.
Hello, this is Sue from the paint store in Van Buren. We are set and ready for all your spring and summer projects. We keep real samples of your Richards paint on file so we can be sure it matches every time. No computer can do that. The paint store in Van Buren. Color expertise and 34 years of knowledge outweighs all the competition. No other paint seller can do that. The paint store in Van Buren, Fayetteville Road, 474-4505.
At Frank World Furniture, we want you to get this month started off right. So not only do we have no sales tax, but we are marking down every piece of furniture, bedroom furniture, mattresses, and dining sets in the store to unbelievable prices. That's right, marking all furniture down and no sales tax. In-store, no credit check financing, family owned and service after the sale. All American made sofas, love seats, sectionals, and recliners at Frank World Furniture. Best seats in the house.
If you farm, you have enough to worry about without worrying about how much more you're going to owe once your current variable or balloon interest rate increases. Interest rates are on the rise. This is the time to check out Farm Credit's long-term fixed rate options. Farm Credit offers the longest terms in the ag industry. Long-term fixed rates mean there's no surprises and your payments remain the same for the life of your loan. That's peace of mind in this changing interest rate climate. Find a Farm Credit office near you at myaglender.com. Set your operation up for success and rest easy. Equal housing lender.
Wave Rural Connect has opened their Lutherville zone, serving Hagerville, Knoxville, Lamar, and Ross areas with fiber internet starting at $49.95 a month. TV and phone service available too. Sign up now and the $100 install fee is being waived. Call 833-492-8372 or go online to signup.waveruralconnect.com and get the best customer service available and the fastest internet from Wave. Arkansas Valley Electric Cooperative and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Attention sports fans, your favorite sports book, BetUS.com, is back for their 28th year of NFL action. With the industry's biggest sign-up bonus of up to 200%, BetUS offers their members the opportunity to cash in on all your favorite leagues, including the NFL, NBA, MLB, and more. They've also got hundreds of new casino games, including the coolest European slots, and their live dealers are waiting for you at the tables. You need a sportsbook with integrity and longevity, and you need to know that you're going to get paid. You need a sportsbook that offers everything, including live betting, MMA, golf, horses, esports, and all kinds of crazy bets. Call today at 1-800-79-BET-US. That's 1-800-79-BET-US, and they will walk you through setting up an account. Nobody in the industry gives better bonuses than BetUS. Join now and mention ESPN Arkansas, and you can get up to 200% in bonuses on your first deposit. Nobody beats that. Head to BetUS.com and join today. That's BetUS, where the game begins.
This is Northside head football coach, Coach Felix Curry. I call 782-8940. That's 782-8940. This is Northside head basketball coach, Eric Burnett. I call 782-8940. That's 782-8940.
Football and fall, what a great time of the year. It's also a great time to take advantage of York Factory rebates on high-efficiency HVAC products. Give us a call at 782-8940.
That's 782-8940.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text into Halftime at 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson.
Alyssa Orange from Pig Trail Nation joining us here on Halftime. Alyssa, did you stay up late last night clinging to the Dodgers and Padres? That was one of the only real formulaic games that we saw yesterday, so I'm assuming you were up late with the rest of the Dodgers fans.
Relatively late. I hate to admit this, Phil, but if I'm not working where, I'm up at 11 o'clock anyways, my kids wear me out and I go to bed early, but I did watch until they were up 5-0, and then I felt pretty good about being able to go to sleep.
Well, that's legit. I mean, kids sap all the energy. It's got to be difficult to be up past 11 o'clock, too, even when you're working. I mean, I know what that's like. Mm-hmm. That's not easy.
It's not. Yeah, I mean, they get me up regardless, 7:30 or so when my husband leaves the house. And so most of the time I'm up early, but if I'm working, I don't go to bed. I don't fall right asleep, so I'm not in bed officially asleep, probably closer to midnight. So I'll try to take advantage on days where I'm not working to go to sleep early. But it was good to see them jump out to a 5-0 lead. You got Kershaw on the mound tonight, so it should be fun.
Everybody always wants to poo-poo Clayton Kershaw in the postseason. He's not as good as he is in the regular season. That's the thing I see. I mean, the guy in 2020 threw 2 gems in the World Series, and for me that kind of put the guy chokes in the postseason to bed. I don't buy that.
Yeah, no, I look, and I know that he's fallen short at times, but he is human. But I really do think that 2020 year was kind of redemption for him, for anyone who doubted if he was one of the greats or not,
So, Sunday, we are all counting on Pig Trail Nation to have really, a lot of highlights. You might as well just record the entire game and put it on YouTube. I don't know if the athletic department would let you do it, but that's what everybody wants now since it won't be televised.
Why not? It's a glorified practice, right? It's you're kind of piquing my interest here. If we sit there on the baseline with one of our Live View backpacks on, why can't we live stream it? You got me piquing my interest here. At least put up quarter by quarter for people. Yeah, how about that? No video. We'll definitely be there though. We'll have the team there. Will and I will be traveling back from Provo, but the team will be there. But we got to give the people what they want, and the people want to see Arkansas basketball and this men's team as they get ready to play here in less than a month.
Just imagine the disappointment that people felt when they first saw, this is on SEC Network Plus. We can watch this thing, and we don't have to pay extra for it like Flow Sports. And then, like, just a few hours later, no, never mind. Can't do it. But, glorified practice or not, like, I expect when you watch the games in Europe, there was I hesitate to throw this terminology for it, but there was a little bit of a street ball mentality, it felt like. That might have been a reason why you saw so many turnovers. But I think this will be much, much different, especially with these guys going up against each other, and I think they know each other really well by now. Like, I'd expect to see, I'm not going to say like the best played game of all time, but it's going to be exciting, it's going to be high level, and it's probably the best competition outside of the Texas exhibition that the Hogs see until Maui.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they're definitely going to be a lot more poised, a lot more cleaned up this time around, as opposed to when they were really just playing together for the very, very first time in Europe. And like you said, the chemistry is continuing to grow. Excited to see if Musselman kind of messes with some lineups and kind of changes things up, see what he does, see what he puts out there. For that first lineup for the red-white game. And I think, you got guys like Jordan Walsh and Nick Smith Jr. who were here last year watching this game and have talked about the environment, how crazy it was with a packed Barnhill Arena for a glorified practice. A scrimmage is exactly what that is. And so they kind of want to reciprocate that excitement and that feeling that they witnessed a season ago. I know that Joe was also in the crowd. So those guys saw what it looked like a year ago, and they want to top that. So expect it to be really exciting at Barnhill if you're there.
And of course, all this occurs a day after BYU and Arkansas meet at Lavelle Edwards Stadium. I've seen some opinions that this is like the moment for Sam Pittman, with a 3-game losing streak, a leaky defense, going on the road, potentially a 4th straight loss. It's a good team you're facing. You're going into the bye week. All the expectations that came into this season. And I think there are plenty of fans who are like, you know what? I thought they might be 3-3 at this point. But there's others, who are quite disappointed right now. But how do you view this game against BYU in the context of Sam Pittman's tenure at Arkansas?
Well, I think this is a big game. Just because they're trying to break that 3-game losing streak. We saw them do it a year ago. They broke that 3-game losing streak and were able to go on a run the rest of the season. I don't necessarily know if I agree with the fact that this is a pinnacle game for his career at Arkansas. I think it's a pinnacle game for the moment right now. We could look back in 5 years and not even think about this BYU game, depending on the way that it goes. But I think for right now, in the moment, it's a critical game because you want to go into the bye week with some confidence and some momentum. You always want that because you've got some now time to be healthy. And Sam Pittman said after the Mississippi State game, like, and I understand that this is a game where they can kind of get some of that back, rest, and then go on to the road and beat an Auburn team that's not playing very well this season. But I don't think that this BYU game makes or breaks the year because if you look at the schedule, you can beat Auburn on the road, you can beat Liberty, you can beat Missouri. So right there, that gets you to 6 wins. I think LSU's beatable at home, and if you chop up Ole Miss to a loss, there are wins at the rest of the season. So it's not like if you lose this BYU game, the season is over. I just think fans and some people just really want some momentum back, and of course they do. I think everyone on this football team does. But I'm not going to go and say that this is a huge pinnacle game for his career. I think it's a pinnacle game for the season to get some momentum back, but it's not going to end the season if they don't win this game either.
I think what I'd like to see, and I think Sam Pittman would like to see it too, is more balance on offense, not to where it's 50-50 because that's not what this team is about. But I kind of wonder, is the passing game now what it is? We say the same thing about the secondary. You got to try to improve coverage, improve tackling, and of course getting guys back healthy is a major part of it. But maybe this is what the Arkansas defense just is right now. And 6 games into the season, sometimes you can't plug the hole in the bucket. I wonder about the Arkansas offense and the passing game specifically. Although I will say, like, seeing Bryce Stevens and Keytron Jackson the past couple of weeks, and 3 weeks in Jackson's case, that gives me a little feeling like there might be room to grow for the passing offense. I think it's a matter of the opportunities that those two guys get, because Matt Landers just hasn't been getting open. And, you know, I think Jaden Hazelwood has been good. I don't think you change anything about Hazelwood, but you're looking for somebody that's able to make big plays. We've seen that from Keytron and Bryce.
Yeah, I think so, because if you were to tell me that this is it for this wide receiver group and this is where they peak, I'm going to be severely disappointed, because there's talent in that room. And if this is it, then quite frankly, in my opinion, it's underachieved. So what is that fix? Is it Jackson? Is it Bryce Stevens we saw last week? Is Warren Thompson continuing to clean up the little things that separate him from where he is now to being a really strong number 2 for the Razorbacks? I hope that things continue to move forward and get cleaned up. And you know what? If it isn't Warren Thompson, so be it. It's Keytron Jackson or it's Bryce Stevens. But something's got to give, because in my opinion, if they don't get better, if we don't see improvement, it's a opportunity wasted, in my opinion.
Absolutely, I agree. So, are you headed out to Utah? Who's headed out that way, and have you ever been?
I have never been to Utah, so very excited. Will and I are going to be flying to DJ from KARC in Little Rock. So Will and I and then DJ will fly into Salt Lake City and stay there. We fly actually out tomorrow to kind of give some time to get everything lined up and some shows, and we're going to do some cool stuff while we're out there. Will's been doing these on-the-road stories. So we got to go to the Star in Arlington, and we went to the cheese shop and creamery at Mississippi State. Then we're going to this old, cool Moon Rare bookstore in Provo, where this guy's just got first edition books, and he's got this huge collection, and it's pretty cool. And the book nerd in me is like super excited about this. So we're going to do some fun things in Provo while we're there as we get ready for the game too. So I'm looking forward to it.
Alyssa, I love that you went to the Mapes Dairy thing in on campus at Mississippi State.
Yeah.
That's the creamery.
Yeah, we
I'm
may or
assuming
may not
you
have
went
come
to.
home with about $80 worth of cheese.
This is the thing. Nobody that just goes for football or just goes for basketball realizes that Mississippi State has this amazing on-campus dairy. They make their own ice cream, cheeses. They butcher their own meats. It's amazing. And when I go for baseball, I'm there twice a trip. Can't bring back ice cream, but I brought back the guys some cheese and salsa.
Yeah, have you gotten the chocolate milk?
I have not had the chocolate milk. Maybe that's what I get next time.
Milk. Yeah, they say the chocolate milk has a cult following. It's very delicious. It's thick and rich, but it is good.
All right, well, good. Well, next time when Arkansas baseball visits, I will certainly be there. Alyssa, appreciate you. Good. See you on the Beehive State. Travel safe.
See ya. You too.
All right, that's Alyssa Orange from Pig Trail Nation joining us every Wednesday on Halftime. And later on, we've got Bill King from Nashville Sports Radio. Get over to WT Equipment, 8 locations serving customers across Arkansas and North Louisiana. This is where you can get in the market for a compact track loader or an excavator. WT Equipment has one at one of their 8 locations, including their newest location in Searcy. They're an authorized New Holland agriculture and construction equipment dealership. They offer equipment sales, service, and parts. That's WT Equipment. 8 locations across Arkansas and North Louisiana. You can stop by your nearest WT Equipment location or go online to WTEquip.com. Halftime back after a quick break.
ESPN Arkansas is headed behind enemy lines to Provo, Utah. Our coverage is presented by High Tech Truck Refrigeration Service. Find them at hightechtruck.com. Washita Farms. Lark is available in 4 amazing flavors in 200 locations throughout Arkansas. And by Crabtree RV. Let's go camping at crabtreerv.com.
First, there was big tobacco. Now there's big marijuana. They've already ruined the quality of life in Colorado and California. Their next target? Arkansas, with Issue 4. They claim Issue 4 will benefit us, but in reality, it would only help a small group of corporate marijuana interests make millions and hurt us. By repealing limits on marijuana potency, Issue 4 puts profits over people, exposing our community to dangerous new higher potency marijuana products. By repealing advertising restrictions on marijuana, it puts our children at risk, exposing them to harmful marijuana products at a young age. Finally, as a constitutional amendment, any problems Issue 4 creates will be locked in and nearly impossible to undo. The truth is, Issue 4 would only line the pockets of big marijuana corporate interests and harm the quality of life for the rest of us. We can do better. Vote no on Issue 4. Paid for by Safe and Secure Communities.
Get the best value, service, and TV locally with personal service from WOW World of Wireless, your neighborhood professional Dish authorized retailer. Stop in and ask us about the Hopper 3, Dish's most advanced DVR that delivers a premium viewing experience. Tired of running out of DVR space? With the Hopper 3, you can record up to 2,000 hours of your favorite programming and watch your very own favorite channels and DVR recordings anywhere you go on your phone or tablet. Call now. WOW World of Wireless. 877-305-DISH. That's 877-305-3474 for more details. Or online at shopwownow.com. World of Wireless is located at 601 Church Street in Barling next to Frank Rowe Furniture. That's 601 Church Street in Barling. Come see us at our new location.
Monthly equipment fees and other restrictions apply. Recording hours vary. 2,000 hours based on SD programming. Remote viewing requires internet connection and compatible mobile device.
This time of year is hectic, and we know you have things to do and places to be. Southern Tire Mart can help you get there and save you money on America's most trusted brands like Michelin and BF Goodrich. Take advantage of our $49.95 oil change, which includes 27-point vehicle inspection. Come see us at Southern Tire Mart, just off I-540 at exit 14 in Fort Smith today. For quality Michelin and BF Goodrich tires and the best in first-class service. Get where you need to be with Michelin, BF Goodrich, and Southern Tire Mart.
United Hail Pros is your one-stop shop auto body repair shop, specializing in paintless dent repair. Locally owned and operated, zero out-of-pocket with free car rental from Enterprise with a lifetime warranty. Got hail damage? Don't delay. Call United Hail Pros right away. 479-309-3998. That's 479-309-3998.
Hardee's new Charbroiled Double Deals, starting at $2.99 each, have the Academy for New Offerings hailing this double cheeseburger deal as very new indeed. How much more new does it get than the new Bacon Double Cheeseburger and the new California Classic Double Cheeseburger? Not much newer than that. Well, I've got news for the Academy. After this, I'm getting myself a double cheeseburger from this new deal. The new Charbroiled Double Deal, starting at $2.99 each at Hardee's. Feed your happy. Tax not included for a limited time. Price and participation may vary. Visit restaurant or app for details.
Chuck Barrett here. I know a thing or two about making great calls in Arkansas. And when it comes to your home service needs, make the call to Paschal Air, Plumbing, and Electric. Paschal offers plumbing services from simple drain repairs to running all new lines. And right now, you can replace your water heater with a professionally installed system from Paschal. Take $150 off a new traditional water heater or $300 off a tankless system. Paschal Air, Plumbing, and Electric. Arkansas owned. Arkansas operated. Go Paschal.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Hey, Surrey!
Find Halftime on 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith in the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs in Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Now back to the host. Here's Phil Elson.
It's fun talking with Alyssa about the dairy at Mississippi State. I don't hate Starkville. It's not that terrible of a place, which I guess really doesn't sound like much of a compliment. Yeah, the place is not so terrible. It's not too bad. I'm not going to say it's the most exciting place in the world. But they might have the best ice cream in the SEC. Some of the best fried chicken in the world is on the way to Starkville, and I stopped there on the way. I don't know where to eat on the way out to Utah. I'm not driving. I don't know what Brett Dolan thought. Brett texted me a couple days ago asking if I was driving to Provo. that would be a bit of a lengthy drive. Now, I've made the drive from Utah back east before. I'd spent the 1999 summer and a little bit of the spring in Ogden, Utah, just north of Salt Lake, working for a minor league team in the Brewers organization. But that's the last time I've ever visited the great state of Utah. I know there's a lot of Razorback fans that are headed out there a day or two early, or maybe even spending the whole week. Tommy Kraft is out there. I think he's leaving today. He's taking advantage of a rare opportunity to visit somewhere where the Razorbacks have never played before, and who knows if they'll ever be out there again. So, yeah, I wouldn't know exactly where to go. I don't remember any of the places that I used to go in Ogden. That was an interesting summer because I spent as much time outside of Utah as I did in. It was the only city in the league. But it'd be fun to bump into some Razorback fans out there. There's going to be another big football game going on right about the same time that we get going. I remember bringing that up a few weeks ago. We always look for reasons for Arkansas to be on ESPN Game Day, and obviously Game Day is going to be at the big Alabama-Tennessee game this weekend. Makes a little bit more sense, I guess. But I know Utah's got a pretty big game coming up this weekend. See what they've got. That's why I'm looking at basketball. I'm like, what am I've got the wrong schedule up here. I pulled up Utah basketball, and nobody cares what's going on with Utah basketball for the time being. Southern California. That is one of a little more than a handful of matchups that include two top 25 teams this weekend. Utah is 20th in the AP poll, and Southern California is 7th. USC would be one of the 15 undefeated teams remaining, and that's two undefeated teams in a row that Utah plays. They were defeated by UCLA last weekend. Utes are a 3.5-point favorite. You could actually pull off a double dip if you really wanted to, if you cared that much. With a 2:30, it's a 2:30 kickoff, Arkansas BYU. Let's say that game is 3.5 hours, get you to 5:30. It's about an hour to get to Salt Lake. 6:30. Add another 30 minutes, 45 minutes for traffic. You would miss kickoff. That's too bad. 7 o'clock is kickoff, USC and Utah. Mississippi State and Kentucky also doing battle. A top 25 matchup. Bulldogs are 16th after the win over the Razorbacks. Kentucky's dropped to 22nd. State is a 4-point favorite in that game. Still not sure if Will Levis is going to play or not. I know Bob Stoops or Mark Stoops spoke on the teleconference earlier this morning, so I'll have to check in on that. NC State and Syracuse, an all-ACC top 25 matchup. Cuse is undefeated, 5-0. NC State 5-1. Who has Syracuse beaten? Louisville, UConn, Purdue, Virginia, and Wagner. Maybe the win over Purdue is okay, but otherwise you very well could see Syracuse knocked out of the ranks of the unbeaten pretty soon. Oklahoma State and TCU. So this is one of the two matchups that has two unbeaten teams. Alabama, Tennessee would be the other. Oklahoma State, 5-0. 8th in the country, TCU 5-0, 13th in the country, and TCU a 3.5-point favorite. Should be a really interesting game. Oklahoma State's got an interesting schedule coming up. I forget who it was that texted in. It was either yesterday or the day before, saying he didn't see a loss for Oklahoma State on the schedule yet, right now, or at least what's left for them. Could be a loss this weekend. Then they play Texas. Texas can move the ball. Kansas State and Kansas. It's 4 consecutive ranked teams that Oklahoma State plays. So I might see a loss in one of them. And I think if Oklahoma State loses, they're not going to make it in any game, not just, they lose any game, including the Big 12 championship like last year, and they're not going to be a playoff team. And it's just Clemson is basically, see the rest of the schedule here for Clemson. Is there anybody left that could really do a hurt on them? Yeah, maybe so. Florida State. Then Syracuse, and I'm not really sure about Syracuse. Notre Dame, that's a road game for Clemson. That's when they could get tripped up. Maybe by Miami, too. Probably not Louisville or South Carolina. So we'll just leave it at that. All right, we're going to step aside for a break on halftime, and we'll have a second-hour reset in just a moment. Want to remind you that CJ's Butcher Boy Burgers has locations in Russellville at the Arkansas Avenue location and in Fayetteville at Weddington, and of course inside Razorback Stadium as well. Once the Hogs finally make it back home to Razorback Stadium against Liberty November the 3rd, you can enjoy the best burgers and shake and fries anywhere in the state of Arkansas inside Razorback Stadium. When all you do are burgers, they have to be the best. And we've got hour number 2's reset coming up after this.
But I would walk 500 miles and I would walk 500 more to be the man.
Riley Farm Dental at the entrance to Riley Farm.
Video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building quality fencing and gates, is looking for quality people to join the Fence Man team. If you are a fence builder or have building or welding experience, apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man offers great pay and a $500 sign-on bonus. Join the top fence building team and get a $500 sign-on bonus. The Fence Man. Apply today in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man is an equal opportunity employer.
Now that's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouth.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sacalé, paper mouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to wager on all your favorite sports, contests, and events with first-to-market odds and lines. Find reviews and news for every league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all your sports information, from live in-game betting, props, and futures. Head to BetOnline today or use your mobile device to join today and make your first sports bet. Use our promo code BELIEVE50 to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's BELIEVE, BLEAV 50. That's BELIEVE, BLEAV 50. Bet online, where the game starts.
Ed Sheeran used to sing in the church choir, but now bad habits reveal his desire. The old saying goes, sow a thought, reap an action. Sow an action, reap a habit. Sow a habit, reap a character. Sow a character, reap a destiny. God knows you can't overcome. That's why the faith that saves is trusting what Jesus has already done. There's nothing else you can say or use or do. Bad habits lead to doom. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Think about it.
Sometimes wounds just don't heal, and when they don't, reach out to the Tulsa Wound Center. They provide chronic wound care using all the latest technologies such as hyperbaric oxygen therapy, shockwave therapy, skin substitutes, and more. When it comes to life and limb, experience matters. Make sure you are being seen and treated by an experienced and certified wound physician. Founder and medical director Dr. Lam Lee has been a prominent wound care and hyperbaric physician for over 15 years. 10,000 patients can't be wrong. Online at TulsaWoundCenter.com or call 918-561-6661.
Searching for the best UTV on the market but can't find it with any of the big name brands? That's where the Intimidator comes in. An American brand using American-made steel and built in Arkansas. Intimidator UTVs offer premium components as standard, unlike those other companies. Items such as doors, skid plates, heavy-duty frames, and comfortable seating, all at one comparable price. See why Intimidator UTVs are the best choice by visiting your local dealer, Horns Outdoor in Hot Springs, or visit hornsoutdoor.net.
Hi, I'm Mike Van Jr. with Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. You can count on my team to provide top quality pressure washing and exterior cleaning services for your property.
What all do you service?
Fence washing, gutter, or deep concrete cleaning for your home, commercial business, and more.
Do you have insurance?
Absolutely. We're covered with liability insurance, and we also use safe and effective wash methods, leaving your home or business looking brand new.
I guess I need to go to your website, mjmobilewash.com.
Or just give me a call at 479-763-5561.
Ooh, Lord, my trouble so hard. Don't nobody know my trouble but God. Don't nobody know my trouble but God. Ooh, Lordy, my trouble so high.
Find Halftime on 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith in the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs in Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Now back to the host. Here's Phil Elson.
This show just moves right along so quickly, so it's the end of the second hour. Let's get a new 8 reset.
Freeze frame!
Reset and refresh.
Reset. The Great Reset.
It's time for the Halftime Reset, giving you all the info and facts you need to make it through the rest of your day in sports.
False start. Both teams back on it. Get back here.
Now, here's Phil Elson with your Halftime Reset.
Former Razorback outfielder Heston Kjerstad, playing for the Scottsdale Scorpions of the Arizona Fall League, yesterday smacked his second home run in 7 games. They have only played 7 games in the Arizona Fall League. Kjerstad is hitting .344 with 5 extra base hits in a week's worth of games. The second overall pick of the 2020 draft batted .309 with 5 homers and 19 other extra base hits in 65 games at 2 levels of single A during the minor league season, and it is great for Kjerstad to be healthy. Meanwhile, Razorback baseball is set for a 6 o'clock scrimmage against the Texas Rangers Instructional League team tonight. They'll play 9 innings today. Tomorrow is a 7-inning game beginning at 4. Free admission. You don't need tickets. Parking's free as well. Gates open an hour before first pitch. Food and concessions are available. No outside food, though, except inside, of course, the hog pen. And we had a stupid injury announcement yesterday. It's coming from Houston Astros reliever Phil Maton. This one's good. And what was it that Crash Davis told Nuke Lelouch in the billiards bar? In the billiards bar, I think he told him you don't punch a drunk with your pitching hand. Well, he substituted the word drunk for the word locker. Phil Maton broke his pinky finger on his pitching hand, punching a locker after a poor outing in the last game of the regular season, and is out for the playoffs. That's pretty stupid. If he would have punched him with his non-pitching hand, he probably would have been okay. Former Razorback Trevor Stephan tossed a perfect inning in relief of Cal Quantrill for Cleveland in the 4-1 loss to the Yankees last night. 3 batters faced, 1 strikeout for Stephan, who got Gleyber Torres to fly out, Giancarlo Stanton to ground out, and struck out Oswaldo Cabrera. Yordan Alvarez's dramatic game-winning 3-run homer for the Astros yesterday came off of Robbie Ray, a 2009 signee to the Razorback baseball program. He never played for Arkansas because he signed with the Nationals as a draft choice. This was interesting. Ray has made 230 career appearances, counting the postseason in the major leagues. Last night, only the 7th game he's ever appeared in relief. So Scott Service said that you might be using him in relief to face a lefty. No matter the situation, that was the situation last night. And Alvarez took Ray over the fence and sent Houston into bedlam. And that's hour number 2 in the books here on Halftime. 877-377-6963 for our final hour. Bill King joins us in about 19 minutes to look around the SEC and what else is happening across college football, and we'll take your calls and texts as well right up to the end of the show at 2 o'clock. Stay with us on Halftime.
With the helpful hardware, folks.
Jaeger's Ace is your place for hot savings on DeWalt 20-volt brushless bare tools for fall cleanup. DeWalt blower only $129 with your Ace Rewards card. Or choose a 10-inch pole saw, only $149 with your Ace Rewards card. Need something bigger? Get the DeWalt 12-inch chainsaw for only $169 with your Ace Rewards card. Hurry into Jaeger's Hardware. This offer ends October 31st.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Cooler weather is on the way. Is your heating system ready? Let Ashley Air get your home ready with their $69 fall tune-up special. Ashley Air's trained technicians will check your system and make certain it's heating your home efficiently. It's just part of Ashley Air's 100% satisfaction guarantee. On game day, call the Hogs. When your heat needs repaired, call Ashley Air. Get your $69 fall tune-up now. Just go to AshleyAir.com to schedule your tune-up. That's AshleyAir.com. Proud sponsors of Razorback Athletics.
There's more to a tractor than just horsepower. A tractor also needs weight to get that horsepower to the ground. With TYM, a heavier tractor comes standard. Many of the TYM models weigh more for the horsepower than comparable tractors from the big names, and tractors that weigh more do more. See Bush Tractor at their new location at 6100 South Zero in Fort Smith, or log on to bushtractor.com to see how they can upgrade your productivity.
What do you get when you pull into Tony's Tire Service? You get the best selection of tires for any car, truck, or commercial vehicle. Tony's Tire Service has Cooper tires and is ready to serve you to get you back on the road safely. They'll also get your vehicle fixed with brake replacements, plus an alignment with the best repair guy in the area. Tony's Tire Service has been serving the River Valley for over 34 years. Come let our guys replace your tires with Cooper tires and our service department to make sure the vehicle has the best brakes and alignments. Tony's Tire Service, 7200 South 28th Street in Fort Smith. Service you can depend on.
Would you like to cut your utility bills without cutting comfort? Stay cool and save while enjoying the reliability and efficiency of a new Luxair HVAC system. Have your contractor call J&B Supply to hook you up with a Luxair system perfectly suited for your home. Luxair provides optimal comfort, energy savings, and lasting performance. J&B Supply, where the professionals go for all their HVAC, plumbing, and electrical needs since 1968. J&B Supply with locations in Fort Smith, Springdale, and Bentonville.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, lots of sunshine, a chance of showers, a few thunderstorms, especially early. Our high this afternoon will be in the upper 70s north, mid 80s south. We'll start to dry things out, cool things down, upper 40s north tonight, right around the low 50s south. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Carco Auto Sales. Give them a call at 783-1722 or check them out online at buyfromcarco.com.
From the Bushlight Studios, this is ESPN 95.3, KERX Paris, Fort Smith.
Are you sure this is legal? I don't know. It's fun though, isn't it?
Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that doesn't respect you.
Live from the Bushlight Studios.
Don't ask me if I'm all right. Joaquin said dominate, and we not doing it.
We're going to go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Hell yeah! We got 30 minutes for the rest of our life.
You said you had very motivational words at halftime.
Hold the roll, hold the roll, hold the roll, hold the roll.
It's halftime with Phil Elson, produced by Matt Travis.
I'm putting my heart up. Let's go, man.
Probably as frustrated as I've been the first half. Second half, very happy.
Do we believe? Yes, sir. 30 minutes for the rest of our lives. Hold the roll, hold the roll, hold the roll, on three. 1, 2, 3. Turn that down, your
Now, here's Phil Elson.
So another failed attempt by a college football coach in the NFL with Matt Rule shown the door by the Carolina Panthers after another loss on Sunday. It's probably going to happen no matter what, but an 11-27 record in less than 3 seasons. And Rule, who was able to execute total turnarounds at Temple University and Baylor University, could not do the same thing for the Carolina Panthers, where apparently it's a little more difficult to execute a total turnaround for an NFL franchise, especially, and maybe more than anything else when it comes into this, the number one factor into turning things around for an NFL team is to have a really good quarterback in the prime of his career, and they did not have that. Matt Rule never had that with the Carolina Panthers. Now, I'm not shifting blame off of Matt Rule. This just happens to be, I think, a fact of life in the NFL and as a head coach in the National Football League. I remember bringing up a couple of days ago the whole idea that that Mike Tomlin has never had a losing season as a head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Ben Roethlisberger was his quarterback for all but 1 year, and he's the one who never had the losing season, too. Tomlin does deserve a little credit for having a winning-ish season with Mason Rudolph and Duck Hodges at quarterback, but really one of the reasons Tomlin has been such a successful coach is he had a franchise quarterback that he could count on a week-by-week basis. And Rule never had that. I mean, you look through the history of some of the great college head coaches who failed in the NFL, and it sounds like in most cases they never had a great quarterback. Jody and Harrison says he lasted longer than Urban Meyer and Bobby Petrino. Absolutely. I think those two people, Urban Meyer and Bobby Petrino, are in a separate category in and of themselves. Petrino couldn't wait to get out of Atlanta after he realized he wasn't going to have Michael Vick. And he's not the most trustworthy person in the world when it comes right down to signing a contract and trusting he's going to be there. So I put Petrino in a different category. And Urban Meyer is he was a dirtball with that franchise and probably and before that as well. I just think he was not built for being an NFL head coach, and I think that played itself out quite obviously. Rule, I guess, is a different story. And Meyer, I'm not going to say he's a great quarterback, but Trevor Lawrence has shown something this year that maybe wasn't there last season. And I don't know, maybe Meyer would have been a great head coach in the NFL in a different era, but this is not that era. And sooner or later he's going to find himself as a head coach for another college program, which probably will be the same thing with Matt Rule. You look at Nick Saban and the 2 years. Saban's the greatest coach in college football history. Do we agree on this? If we don't agree on this, I think you probably agree that Saban is at least one of the top 3 coaches in college football history. But the 2 years he was at Miami, he had Gus Frerotte and Joey Harrington. They actually had a 9-7 season with Gus Frerotte at quarterback. Bobby Petrino, he thought he was going to have Michael Vick. He ended up with Joey Harrington, Chris Redman, and Byron Leftwich. No wonder he was ready to get out of town with the season not even close to being finished. Chip Kelly with the Eagles had Nick Foles, Sam Bradford, and Mark Sanchez. Now, Foles obviously took the Eagles to a Super Bowl and won the Super Bowl in relief of Carson Wentz. Hasn't really been, that great since then. Bradford and Sanchez kind of speak for themselves. Steve Spurrier in his time with Washington, Patrick Ramsey, Tim Hasselbeck, Shane Matthews, and then, of course, Danny Werfel. Dennis Erickson, when he coached the Seahawks. Rick Meyer, good college quarterback, bad NFL quarterback. Had Warren Moon, Hall of Famer, but Moon also was at the very end of his career and was not the same thrower or passer that he'd been with the Houston Oilers for all those years before. And then it was John Kitna. Not the kind of quarterbacks that week in, week out, you feel you're going to win a lot of games with. Jim Harbaugh is one that sort of stands apart. Harbaugh in his time with the Niners, 44 wins and 19 losses. Now, he's not a Pete Carroll with a Super Bowl championship, and certainly not Jimmy Johnson with 2, but he did get to a Super Bowl with Colin Kaepernick as the quarterback, and, of course, Alex Smith was there too. So I'd be interested to see if Harbaugh would end up getting back into the NFL because he just was a successful coach there, and that also was without a great quarterback. Colin Kaepernick was not a great quarterback. He was good, but he was not great. And that was the same with Alex Smith. Serviceable. Certainly not, what you thought you were getting with the number 1 overall pick. So Harbaugh, I feel like, stands a little bit apart from the rest as far as that's concerned. But this entire list here, and this is the recent coaches that didn't find success in the NFL from college football. John Robinson, who had a string of success at USC, he had a decent decade with the Rams, but he also had a guy named Jim Everett, who was one of the better quarterbacks in the NFC during that time. So I think these things do sometimes have to go together. I'd forgotten about Tom Coughlin, the first coach in Jaguars history, that he started his head coaching career at Boston College. And then when he gets to the Jags, he's got Mark Brunell, who was good, who was very good. And then, of course, Eli Manning, where he wins a couple of Super Bowls. But Maybe that had a little bit more to do with the defense. We keep forgetting about Coughlin, though, as a college head coach, because I guess 3 years at Boston College, people don't necessarily tend to remember those things very much. So Matt Rule, I mean, it feels like a foregone conclusion that he's going to go back to college football. So he's been given, I mean, really, when you look at this, it's a good thing for Rule that he is let go early. And in this day and age where how many open jobs do we have in college football? Open head coaching jobs? There's 6. Wisconsin, Nebraska, Virginia Tech, Georgia Tech, Arizona State, Colorado. There are going to be more jobs opening as we go throughout the season, and certainly once the season's done, there will also be more jobs that open up. And now Rule can kind of start looking around and figuring out what's the best spot for him to stop. And those athletic directors can also start to talk to him in some ways. So this makes you wonder, where would Matt Rule work the best to try to engineer a turnaround? And is that necessarily what he's going to be looking for? Because when he took over Baylor, I mean, Baylor was right then in the throes of the scandal that rightfully ended Art Briles' career and sent Baylor into a spiral for a couple of years, and he took them from one win to double digits. Did the same thing with Temple. And if you're able to win at Temple University, then you've done something that's pretty special. Back-to-back 10-win years at Temple University, it's just shocking. And to go from 1 win to 11 wins in 3 seasons with Baylor tells you that this is someone who can engineer a complete turnaround. And maybe that's where he belongs at a program that needs to completely turn things around, which is Nebraska. And that's all. Maybe Nebraska can still be a place where you can win some football games. This will be very interesting as we go throughout this once we get into the college offseason and whoever it is that Nebraska hires, because I wonder if Nebraska is a place that can actually land their top choice. They're not viewed the same way that they were viewed as a Big 8 or a Big 12 school, with the ability to recruit all through Texas. And into the Big 10, it's been a much different story for Nebraska. So maybe that's a school that might go after Rule, but he might also say, no, I don't really think that this is a place that I can do this kind of a turnaround. You go to Baylor, there's plenty of areas to recruit. Not going to say Philadelphia with Temple is like the biggest recruiting ground to try to turn Temple around, but he found a way to do it. And maybe Auburn. Maybe Auburn is the place. Rule, who is a huge star in college football coaching, if you want to really show what you got, you do it in the SEC. But do you want to go up against Nick Saban in recruiting as well in the state of Alabama? That's something we'll bring up with Bill King in the next segment. So if you got any questions for Bill, you can text them to us at 877-377-6963. Brought to you by The Fence Man. If you own a business that needs more security or need a better look and more curb appeal from your fence, then call The Fence Man. They got a fence that can do both for you, and they've been in business for over 40 years, installing all types of fence and gates and controlled access for your business. The Fence Man at 479-782-3936. The Fence Man ain't afraid of no work. Bill King joins halftime after this break.
Cooler weather is on the way. Is your heating system ready? Let Ashley Air get your home ready with their $69 fall tune-up special. Ashley Air's trained technicians will check your system and make certain it's heating your home efficiently. It's just part of Ashley Air's 100% satisfaction guarantee. On game day, call the Hogs. When your heat needs repaired, call Ashley Air. Get your $69 fall tune-up now. Just go to AshleyAir.com to schedule your tune-up. That's AshleyAir.com. Proud sponsors of Razorback Athletics.
Papa's Pub and Pizzeria has incredible game day specials, resulting in big-time wins. The Hogzilla Specialty Pizza is only $16.99, made with pulled pork from Neumeyer's Rib Room, sausage, Canadian bacon, pepperoni, crispy bacon, and cheese, dusted with Neumeyer's Rib Rub. Come watch every Arkansas game at Papa's. 508 Garrison Avenue in downtown Fort Smith. Papa's Pub and Pizzeria, the best darn pizza in Fort Smith, perhaps the world.
Nobody has a better selection of 2022 and 23 Fords than Harry Robinson's Salisol Ford. More than 36 new Fords have arrived or are on the way. Ford F-150s, Expeditions, Escapes, Broncos, and Bronco Sports are all at Harry Robinson. And you will never pay more than MSRP. That's Harry Robinson's promise to you. The biggest and best selection of new Ford vehicles are at Harry Robinson's Salisol Ford. 1 mile south of exit 308 off of I-40 in Salisol and online at harryrobinson.com.
Gray Brothers Equipment understands the importance of your hay crop, and they're ready to help with quality Kubota products like Kubota rotary disc mowers, Kubota brand wheel hay rakes, and VV round balers attached to Kubota's M-Series cab tractor. Together, Kubota and Gray Brothers will make your hay days fun again. That's Gray Brothers Equipment in Fort Smith and Photo, where if you pick orange, you'll never get a lemon.
At Southern Tire Mart, we look out for you and your vehicle. Come visit us for America's most trusted brands like Michelin Tires and top-of-the-line service. You can depend on Southern Tire Mart and Michelin Tires to keep you rolling. Come see us at Southern Tire Mart, just off I-540 exit 14 in Fort Smith, for Michelin tires that fit your needs and service that cares for you like family.
Hi, I'm Kelly Smith, owner of Dixie Digital Imaging, the Xerox authorized dealer in the River Valley. You might know us as your source for large Xerox multifunction or production printers. But for many of you, your needs have changed. Smaller equipment has become more necessary, and we are here to help. We carry the Xerox desktop models, but also brother workhorse printers and multifunctions with 3-year replacement warranties included. So give us a call at 479-783-6600 or visit us at dixiedigital.com. Dixie Digital Imaging, bringing document solutions to the River Valley.
Ocker Funeral Home knows that thinking about the inevitability of one's death is a subject that few like to consider. For many, actually moving ahead with their pre-planning or prepaying for their funeral is even more difficult to act on. With a large number of options available today, it's important to speak to someone you can trust. Ocker Funeral Homes in Van Buren, Alma, and Fort Smith, serving the community for over 100 years. Call 474-2523 for an appointment.
Chuck Barrett here. I know a thing or two about making great calls in Arkansas. And when it comes to your home service needs, make the call to Paschal Air, Plumbing, and Electric. Paschal offers plumbing services from simple drain repairs to running all new lines. And right now, you can replace your water heater with a professionally installed system from Paschal. Take $150 off a new traditional water heater or $300 off a tankless system. Paschal Air, Plumbing, and Electric. Arkansas owned. Arkansas operated. GoPaschal.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Hey, Surrey!
I'm totally wired. I'm totally wired. I'm totally wired. Can you say? Totally wired.
Find Halftime on 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith in the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs in Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Now back to the host. Here's Phil Elson.
Bill King is always totally wired on college football, and that's why we bring him on every Wednesday here on Halftime. Bill, how you doing? We're at the halfway point of the season. Can you believe it? 6 weeks in. It happened quickly.
Yeah, I'm not liking that part. I was talking about that this morning. The playing portion of the season goes so fast in college football, and you blink and you're halfway through. We're going to blink, and it's the last 2 weeks of November, too.
It's true. I mean, it's like talking season begins at the media days, right, which are like, what, the second to last week of July, and then you get 6 weeks of talking before there's an actual game to talk about, and here we are. We're at 6 weeks. It does. It happens incredibly quickly. So a disappointing outcome for Arkansas against Mississippi State. I think when you look back at this, when you look at Arkansas dealing without KJ Jefferson, banged up in the secondary more than they were the week before, and just from what I saw from Mississippi State, it's a really good team. And the more I look back at that game, the more I become less and less surprised at the outcome. What did you see in that game?
We talked about it last week. Circumstantially, it was a bad spot for Arkansas for any number of reasons. You laid a few of them out. Mississippi State's a very good team. They're as polished a passing team as you will play. And they also run the ball well, and they also will strike you on defense. They're a solid, well-rounded team, and you can't be better coached at quarterback than they are by Mike Leach. And Arkansas coming in there metaphorically limping too. The disappointment from A&M, the Alabama game at home. It just did not look good for them heading to that game, particularly on the road.
Well, and Rodgers was really good. I mean, you hit on the thing that to me feels like the difference for Mississippi State in any other year that we've seen them under Leach, or maybe any other year under Leach. It's their ability to run. But they also took advantage of the alignment that was put out against them. I'd be interested to see, first of all, how Kentucky plays them this weekend and if they're able to run with any sort of success like they did against Arkansas. And this is a huge game for both programs. For Kentucky, they got to stop a little bit of the bleeding. And do we know the availability of Will Levis, as Stoops talked about that today?
Not that I know of. Now, I might not be in the loop on that today, but he's been in a boot. And it's iffy. Their situation behind him is not good. And one of the kids is a quarterback who played high school with my kids the last couple of years. He's a true freshman. He's not ready for that prime time. But that's a huge – we're waiting on Bryce Young, too. I mean, I think he's going to play in the Tennessee game. But there are various quarterbacks around that we're waiting on and unsure about.
Well, I mean, Jalen Milroe showed some things against Arkansas, but he also was awfully careless with the ball last week against Texas A&M. I mean, that felt like the reason the Aggies were even in the ball game. So, I mean, we've seen other years where the backup has come off the bench and led Alabama to a national championship. I don't think this year is that year.
He's not balanced enough. Now he's dynamic in the running game, and Jahmyr Gibbs is also dynamic. And together, they're even better. But the passing game suffers. And Tennessee's not going to score 20 points like A&M did. You're going to have to get points up there. And now, I'll tell you this. If you can play keep away, and Florida did that for about a quarter to Tennessee. If you can maintain possession of the ball and keep them off the field and dwindle that clock, and you wouldn't think Alabama would need to revert to that. But this Tennessee team can strike you in one play. I mean, last week, there's a turnover, and the next play, it's an 80-yard bomb for a touchdown. They don't waste any time, and they don't worry about the clock either. And if it's 4th and 3, they don't care. It's almost nonchalant. So Alabama is going to need Bryce Young healthy, and they're going to have to get some points up, which they're certainly capable of. They're, about an 8-point favorite, which is probably about right.
Speaking of Tennessee, I mean, it feels like half the media across the league is ready to give Josh Heupel the Coach of the Year award. And it's funny how this works sometimes because nobody ever at the halfway point of the season says Nick Saban's the Coach of the Year. They're always looking at somebody else. And then by the end of the season, it's either him or Kirby Smart. So I'm not ready to hand anybody that award just yet.
Well, they've still got that game. They still have Georgia. They got to go on the road to Georgia later. They're going to be an underdog in that game. But I think if year 2 for Josh Heupel, considering the disaster he walked in on. I mean, an absolute catastrophe. Capitulation would be a good word. And they're legitimately probably a 10-2 team. That's beyond anybody's wildest prediction.
Well, I mean, game day is in Knoxville at Neyland, and they're going to sell the place out. It's going to be wild. They'll have the Knoxville Navy ready to go and everything. And I mean, we were all fired up about it, and the buzz was in the air when the Crimson Tide visited Fayetteville. And everybody here thought maybe this is the year the losing streak ends. Well, it's now 16 straight losses to Alabama for the Razorbacks, and the Crimson Tide have beaten Tennessee 15 years in a row. But those have been, they've taken Tennessee to the woodshed in most of these games. Do you see any chance? I mean, if it's about Bryce Young, is that really what this game hinges on?
I think Alabama could still win the game. Obviously, it's Alabama, but they're not. They have superstar like Will Anderson, on that. But their secondary is not. Tennessee's not worried about that secondary. Tennessee doesn't even have Cedric Tillman, their star wide receiver, healthy. He hasn't been around since the Akron game. And every receiver they have makes plays. Doesn't matter who they put in there. Every receiver they have is a threat to take it all the way. And but yeah, Bryce Young's very important because it balances them up. Now, I don't think they're as good in the running game with him, but they're much more polished in the passing game.
Well, Volunteers might be without Jalen McCullough, the starting safety. He was arrested on Sunday, I guess, allegedly punched somebody in an apartment complex, and the kid fell down the stairs. So I guess his availability is up in arms too here. And that would be a pretty important piece of the Tennessee defense at the same time.
He's played a lot over 4 years for them. He's been around a long time, and they're looking into. I don't really know what's going to come of it. Now, here's the way they tell the story. He's in his apartment, minding his business. Some drunk guy who doesn't know where he's going enters his apartment. And now here's where it gets fishy. The guy leaves the apartment, the drunk guy, and then he gets chased and beat up. So Tennessee fans are trying to square this one up right now. It's pretty funny. Vol Twitter, of course, is legendary, but if you want to see them defend him, just go to Vol Twitter.
Well, and also, too, not every situation is the same. I remember, what was it, a year or two ago, 4 Kentucky players were arrested, and you're really like, oh, what's going on with Kentucky and everything? And there were no charges. In fact, I think they've ended up suing the police department in this case. So, you got to let these things play out. You always have to let them play out. So, let's see. 15 unbeaten teams that are left. Kansas dropped out of the ranks of the unbeaten last week because TCU beat them. And now TCU gets Oklahoma State. I had a listener say a couple days ago on our text line that he didn't see a loss for Oklahoma State on the schedule and thinks that they're a legit contender for the playoff. Maybe they are, but I'm looking at the schedule for Oklahoma State coming up. TCU, Baylor, Kansas State, Kansas. I see maybe one loss out of those games. So I'm not sure if I see Oklahoma State coming out of the Big 12. But then again, they came awfully close last year, if not for falling about a yard short in the Big 12 title game.
Correct. I've said I think they're the team to beat. Oklahoma is imploding. And not that they win Bedlam much, Oklahoma State doesn't, but they did last year, and they're going to be favored again this year. And I still think they're the team to beat, but that schedule you just reeled off is tough. There's no free lunch in that whole group. Kansas is a very good team. Kansas State, Baylor, TCU, all those teams are good ball clubs. So, yeah, you're right. I don't know they go through all that unscathed.
Here it was. Oklahoma had blown out Nebraska and started the year 3-0. They get ranked, and now they can't stop anybody. 3 games in a row, allowing 40 points or more, getting your head handed to you in the Red River rivalry. What's happened there in Oklahoma?
I'm not sure. There's good personnel. There's not great personnel there. They have some individual pieces like that. They're not at all fixed on defense by a defensive guru. And they're not even, usually the last X number of years, end of Stoops and with Riley, even when they weren't playing good defense, they could still score 40 or 50 on you, right? Now they can't do that. They're bad on both sides of the ball, and that's an incredible problem. And with the injury to Dylan Gabriel, they're unstable at quarterback, and it's a big mess right now. It is a colossal mess that I don't think gets fixed this season.
So Ohio State, I saw, is now the favorite to win the national championship on Caesars Sportsbook. They got ahead of the 2 SEC teams. They've blown out 5 teams in a row. And, offensively, they kind of do look unstoppable right now. Do you think Michigan, once we get to that game, that's the only roadblock in front of Ohio State? Maybe Penn State, maybe?
They got to go to Penn State here in a couple of weeks. And they're off this week. I believe they get Iowa next, then Penn State. What separates them right now from the upper echelon chalk is that receiving. The quarterback, obviously, but it's the quarterback receiving core. The receiving core is by far the best in the nation. It is full of superior players. They're all spectacular playmakers. They're all nightmare matchups, whether it's physicality, whether it's verticality, whether it's speed. And that's what separates them right now between I'd say Alabama and Georgia. Now, I think it'd be unclear who would win between those three. It's probably dead even. But that receiving core is better, a significant notch better than Georgia and Alabama.
Last segment, Bill. We got Bill King from Nashville Sports Radio here on Halftime. He's the host 6 to 9 on WNSR, King of College Football Talk. So Matt Rule, I mean, is it a foregone conclusion he's coming back to college? No NFL team is gonna hire him now, I would think, and he's engineered two really incredible turnarounds. And there's some programs out there that are going to need turnarounds, and there might end up being one of them into the SEC in Auburn. You see any way that Rule goes to Auburn, or do you think there might be a better landing place for him?
Here's my advice. I know Matt. I have not talked to him since he left for the NFL, but I've known Matt. He's getting, I'm told, $870-something thousand a month for 4 years. I'd sit around a year, charge the batteries up, get the brain unclogged, and look at the landscape. I mean, maybe in 2 years the Oklahoma job's open. Right? Maybe in 24 that job's open. I'm not making that prediction, but I don't think I want to take on the Nebraska job right now. It's lost its sex appeal. Wisconsin would be a pretty good gig, but you're never going to get past Ohio State and some of those teams in the Big Ten East. I don't know if Auburn would be a good fit. Your two biggest enemies are Alabama and Georgia. If I'm him, I'm waiting. I'd wait a year. Do some TV maybe.
Does he have that kind of personality to be a TV guy?
I mean, I don't know if that's his love, but some of these guys, they at least want to stay in the game a little bit, so they'll do that to at least stay connected slightly to the game. But I don't really know what he wants. I would assume he does come back to college, yes, but I don't know which fit and match is his priority. You got to remember, when he was at Temple, did a good job there. He left to go to Baylor. And nothing wrong with that, other than Baylor was just an absolute mess. And everybody thought, why in the heck did you take that job? And he'd never been to Waco. He did a really good job there. So, you know, what he's thinking may be totally different than what I'm thinking.
Sure. We got a text in here from Jody in Harrison. He says his favorite college coaches turned pro of all time, Pete Carroll, Dick Vermeil, and Jimmy Johnson. You know, Vermeil only coached a couple of years at UCLA, but that's before he got into the NFL with the Eagles. So who do you believe is the college head coach who has had the most success in the NFL? And I guess, I mean, I look at Jimmy Johnson because he won a couple of Super Bowls.
I'd say Jimmy Johnson. Yeah, I mean, winning big at Miami and then going there and winning a couple Super Bowls, I don't think anybody surpasses that. And the other part of that job is personnel is so vital. And, you know, he had personnel to work with. Some of these other guys, they get caught up in a situation where they're poor personnel people, or they just can't get personnel because of the way the NFL's run, and they're trapped and they can't win. It's another notch up, whether it's adjustments, whether it's coverages, whether it's development. And a lot of those college guys just can't do it.
Some of it's got to also be, Bill, that you can't, you know, recruit your way out of a hole in the NFL. I mean, you're subject to the draft and free agency, and quite often players don't want to go to a bad, crappy team, you know. And the other thing too is one of the things that's common in all of the really good college head coaches who failed in the NFL is that I'd say 95% of them didn't have a good quarterback in the NFL. I mean, that makes all the difference in the world.
No question. And there's only a few that make a difference. Only a few of those quarterbacks make a big difference. And then last as a difference maker, right? That's a hard combination, man.
Mm-hmm. It's a whole different thing. Bill, appreciate you, man. Have a great week. Always love you coming on the show. We'll do it again Wednesday next week. Thank you.
Yep. Appreciate it.
Bill King from Nashville Sports Radio. Good to give us his time every Wednesday on Halftime. We are throwing the phone lines open for you right now at 877-377-6963, and we are right into the home stretch for halftime, so there's not too much time to be a part of the show. Jackie in Cherokee Village, he and I went back and forth on baseball yesterday. He likes Matt Rule for Wisconsin. Thinks Nebraska needs a offensive line coach, somebody like Sam Pittman, although he didn't say Sam Pittman because Pittman's not going to Nebraska. Let's just be honest here. Yeah, well, Wisconsin's also a little bit of the same kind of team every once in a while, right? All right, we're going to continue with halftime after this, so stay with us.
Video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
The Fence Man, the company you can trust when it comes to building quality fencing and gates, is looking for quality people to join the Fence Man team. If you are a fence builder or have building or welding experience, apply in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man offers great pay and a $500 sign-on bonus. Join the top fence building team and get a $500 sign-on bonus. The Fence Man. Apply today in person at 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man is an equal opportunity employer.
Now that's a dandy white perch.
Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to wager on all your favorite sports, contests, and events with first-to-market odds and lines. Find reviews and news for every league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all your sports information, from live in-game betting, props, and futures. Head to BetOnline today or use your mobile device to join today and make your first sports bet. Use our promo code BELIEVE50 to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's BELIEVE, BLEAV 50. That's BELIEVE, BLEAV 50. Bet online, where the game starts.
Ed Sheeran used to sing in the church choir, but now bad habits reveal his desire. The old saying goes, sow a thought, reap an action. Sow an action, reap a habit. Sow a habit, reap a character. Sow a character, reap a destiny. God knows you can't overcome. That's why the faith that saves is trusting what Jesus has already done. There's nothing else you can say or use or do. Bad habits lead to doom. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Think about it.
Sometimes wounds just don't heal, and when they don't, reach out to the Tulsa Wound Center. They provide chronic wound care using all the latest technologies such as hyperbaric oxygen therapy, shockwave therapy, skin substitutes, and more. When it comes to life and limb, experience matters. Make sure you are being seen and treated by an experienced and certified wound physician. Founder and medical director Dr. Lam Lee has been a prominent wound care and hyperbaric physician for over 15 years. 10,000 patients can't be wrong. Online at TulsaWoundCenter.com or call 918-561-6661.
Searching for the best UTV on the market but can't find it with any of the big name brands? That's where the Intimidator comes in. An American brand using American-made steel and built in Arkansas. Intimidator UTVs offer premium components as standard, unlike those other companies. Items such as doors, skid plates, heavy-duty frames, and comfortable seating, all at one comparable price. See why Intimidator UTVs are the best choice by visiting your local dealer, Horns Outdoor in Hot Springs, or visit hornsoutdoor.net.
Hi, I'm Mike Van Jr. with Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. You can count on my team to provide top quality pressure washing and exterior cleaning services for your property.
What all do you service?
Fence washing, gutter, or deep concrete cleaning for your home, commercial business, and more.
Do you have insurance?
Absolutely. We're covered with liability insurance, and we also use safe and effective wash methods, leaving your home or business looking brand new.
I guess I need to go to your website, mjmobilewash.com.
Or just give me a call at 479-763-5561.
Mike Jr.'s Mobile Wash. One call cleans it all. No House Advantage is changing the game by offering the most dynamic fantasy sports platform available today. Play in pick'em contests versus other people for a shot at winning $150,000 plus in cash. Download the app, choose a contest, select your player props, earn points for the correct picks, and climb the leaderboard for your shot to win big money every day. You can also test your skills for...
Welcome back to Halftime with Phil Elson. Got a question or comment? Give us a call or send us a text at 877-377-6963. Let's get back to the show with the voice of Arkansas Razorback men's baseball, the one and only Phil Elson.
Well, thanks for joining us here on this midweek edition of Halftime on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. See this coming out just before we got on the air. Devontae Adams, Raiders wide receiver, is charged with a misdemeanor assault for shoving that photographer on his way off the field after Kansas City beat the Raiders. Adams is cited for a, quote, intentional overt act that inflicted, quote, bodily injury, according to court records released Wednesday. This coming from the ESPN website. The gentleman that Adams shoved, his name is Ryan Zebley, suffered whiplash, a headache, and possibly a minor concussion from the incident, according to medical records.
And maybe a little embarrassment, too, because who wants to just be knocked down on national television like that?
Man, I mean, that wasn't just a little push.
That was pretty, yeah.
Yeah,
It sure seemed aggressive.
It wasn't.
And the guy's doing his
shove.
He's doing his job. He's paid to be
there.
Well,
he was working for ESPN for the Monday night telecast, and I know Adams has apologized, but he's also thrown the butt in there. You know, he threw the butt in there that he said, this is a quote from him. The shove was, quote, just frustration mixed with him literally just running in front of me. So, I mean, take away the idea that he literally just ran in front of me. He shoved him because
was he mad about
he was
something?
Frustrated.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's frustrated, and also because I don't know. It's like once you first get off the football field, I just kind of wonder if you can eliminate the instinct in your head to just push you as ever in front of you, right?
So
that's what Adams would have been doing for most of the football game, trying to get away from defensive backs covering him.
I wonder if in any other aspects of his life he takes aggression out like that, besides when he gets off the football field.
Yeah, that's a good question. Josh McDaniels has voiced support for Adams, calls it a, quote, unfortunate situation. Here's the thing, though. Like, this is different from just a football player or a guy running off the field and accidentally running into a guy, and that causes an injury. Or, you're trying to make a tackle on a running back, and he runs to the sideline, and you dive into him, and you miss him, and you end up taking out the guy who holds the audio saucer down on the field so that we feel we're down on the field hearing everything. This is different from that. All of those aren't just unintentional, they're coincidences. It's just from being on the field at that moment. And maybe Zebley did run in front of him, on his way to try to be somewhere where he needed to be. I don't know exactly, but then that had nothing to do with Adams literally pushing him, like not just extending his hands out, but pushing him somewhat violently. I did watch that over and over a few times.
It seemed more like he was crossing in front of him, not really running up to him, was he? Didn't seem like it was more he was just crossing, just running real quick across from him, and then he happened to be close enough where he could reach out and shove him down.
Yeah, I don't think he was running towards him at all. I just think he was trying to get somewhere.
That's what his statement said. It said he was running right towards us. No, I think he was running across from him, and it didn't even look like he didn't see the shove coming. That's what took him out.
Well, this reminded me of Matty. Do you remember Dennis Rodman, who played in the NBA?
Yeah.
And
with
this
the rainbow
when he was
hair,
with
I used
the
to love
Bulls.
that.
Well, do you remember when he ended up? And this was out of frustration. There was a cameraman who was sitting behind one of the goals, and I don't remember if I think Rodman had either missed out on a rebound and lost it out of bounds. I think that's what happened, and he fell into the cameraman. And the two of them end up like sitting there almost across from each other, and Rodman, out of frustration, kicked the dude in the junk. Do you remember this?
Yep. I'm actually watching it right now.
Was Rodman charged for that? Because, I mean, that's the same thing. That's the same thing. That's aggravated assault. You can't kick somebody. You can't kick someone in the junk and say it's an accident.
This
get
guy
away
looks,
with it.
Yeah, that guy looks like. Do that anywhere else in the world, or in America, and see what happens. If you're not the star player.
Yeah, I mean, I think we'll call football controlled violence, right? It's sort of what it is.
At least the
in
other
some
guys
ways.
on the field have pads on and stuff. This guy's, didn't have it. You don't wear a helmet when you're carrying a camera around, so you could really do some damage to somebody.
These camera operators and the people that are right there on the sideline, man. I mean, they are in harm's way, totally in harm's way. But I mean, they understand that when they get on the sideline and have to be that close.
When I used to do camera work at Trojan game, the UALR Trojan games, I got hit a couple of times. Somebody, going after a rebound and just fly right into me.
You never got kicked in the junk?
Never got intentionally kicked in the junk. Not at least in that circumstance.
Yeah. Jackie's saying it's right. He ran into Renfro.
Jackie's
in the last
actually
play
on
of the
the
game
phone right now, too.
Jackie's called us, so let's take the call. He was mad, but you can't take out your anger. I don't care if there's frustration. You can't shove somebody if they're not a player on the other side, during the game. Because if he did the same thing to a player in the post-game handshakes and all of that, he'd get suspended for starting a fight. He might end up getting suspended for this, too, is my guess. All right, so Jackie's on hold. Hey, Jackie, thanks for the phone call. You're on halftime. What's up?
Hey, I was just wondering, do you think we've seen the last of Fletcher punting the ball for a while?
I missed out on exactly who it was you asked about. Who was it?
Fletcher. Ain't that his name that's been punting for Arkansas? I was wondering if maybe, we've seen the last of him for a while.
Of Fletcher? Oh, Max Fletcher, the punter.
Yeah.
Well, I think that depends on what Reed Bauer does. But look, I mean, it feels like Fletcher was given a pretty long rope here because it was in the sixth game that he lost the job. It wasn't taken away from him. He lost the job because he just hasn't been punting very well. And I know he was advertised as a kid who could basically punt the ball out of the stadium, but I'm not quite sure as to what his feel is for what he's doing because I think when he's punted it long, he's outkicked his coverage a little bit. And then, he shanked that one that went, 20, 25 yards on that last one, punt for an average of 38.3. And right now, Arkansas, this is a main reason why he's not the punter anymore, at least not the first-string punter. Arkansas ranks 6th worst in the country in net punt average. Now, some of that's going to go on the coverage, some of that's going to go on the punter, and they're dead last in the SEC. So right now it feels to me like it's Reed Bauer's job until he loses it. And Reed was pretty good last year. So maybe you have seen the last of Max Fletcher for this season, but I'd be surprised if he doesn't get an opportunity next year as long as he's still with the team. Anything else, Jackie? I guess not.
That had to be a different Jackie. I'm just going to guess. That was a coincidence.
It was the same one because we had a Jackie on the phone and a Jackie texting us at the exact same time.
But two totally different things they wanted to talk about.
Yeah, I don't know if that was Jackie in Cherokee Village or if that was Jackie somewhere else. Jackie the Joke Man.
Yeah.
Halftime is brought to you by No House Advantage. They've changed the game on dynamic fantasy sports. You want to use the promo code HTL at nohouseadvantage.com, or you can just download the app on the app stores and you get a first deposit match up to $25. This is how it works. You play pick'em contest versus other people, have the shot to win $150,000 plus in cash, and you can choose a contest, select your player props, earn points for correct picks, and climb the leaderboard for your shot to win big money every day. Test your skills against the house, and if you hit all your picks, you can multiply your entry up to 20 times. Also put down money on 5-player prop over-unders on individual player matchups across all the major sports: pro football, pro basketball, Major League Baseball, golf, MMA, NASCAR, and much more. The promo code HTL at nohouseadvantage.com. Wrapping things up after this on Halftime.
We won't even think of. We'll nipper the dog and give a big shove. This rhythm really fits like a snug glove. Like a box of positives, it's a plus love. As the trial flies high like a dove.
Sarah Huckabee Sanders.
When I'm governor, we will educate kids, not indoctrinate them with the left's agenda. We will empower parents, not bureaucrats. And we will prepare students for the workforce, not government dependency. I believe every kid growing up in this state should have access to a quality education, a good job, and a better life right here in Arkansas.
Sarah Huckabee Sanders will fight back against Biden and the radical left's agenda.
Inflation is a pay cut for every Arkansan, and Biden's policies are only making it worse. As governor, I'll begin phasing out the state income tax to give you a pay raise and unleash bold reforms to make Arkansas one of the best places to start and grow a business, creating thousands of new, high-paying jobs.
Fighting back against the radical left, empowering Arkansans. Sarah Huckabee Sanders for governor. Paid for by Sarah for governor.
You know, fall in the natural state really is the best. Football, fantastic weather, and some of the country's most beautiful scenery. At Rath Auto Resources, we love fall because prices are falling on all of our Rath Road-ready vehicles, making this the time to save on your nicer, newer car. And it's so easy. Just call, click, or come by. Let one of our friendly, non-commissioned solution specialists do all the work. It's their job to help you find just the right car, get you extra for your trade, take care of all the financing, and make sure you leave in a car of your dreams at a price and payment that fits your budget. If you're keeping the car you have, let us take care of it for you in our Meineke Car Care Center. Philip and his team know how to take care of your car. More importantly, they know how to take care of you with convenient, affordable total car care and savings like half off brakes and buy 3 get 1 free on all tires. Why wait? Start enjoying your fall now in a nicer, newer car from Arkansas's favorite used car dealer, Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith, or online, rathauto.com.
Watch every Hog game this season at Joe's Grill and Cantina, your home for half-price apps and taps during every Hog game. With TVs all around the restaurant, you'll have a front row seat for all the action. Half-price appetizers like Joe's Sampler Platter, Ballpark Nachos, 10-layer dip, brisket nachos, and Mexican pizza. And ask about Joe's tailgate packages to make your football experience even better in the comfort of your home. Half-price apps and taps for every Hog game at Joe's Grill and Cantina, 3400 South 74th Street, across from Harps.
Building a home can be stressful. This is true whether you're the homeowner or the contractor. Many times these issues result in a lawsuit. If you are a homeowner or a contractor and find yourself needing legal help, call the attorneys at Kevin Hickey Law Partners. With experience representing homeowners as well as non-payment or other issues that could arise during construction. Contact Brad Hull or Kevin Hickey at 479-434-2414 in the River Valley or 479-802-6560 in Northwest Arkansas. Or check them out at the web at artriallawyers.com.
Searching for a promising career change? Looking for an established company that pays competitively and values its team members? Then come be a part of the Beckert family. Beckert and Van Buren has immediate openings for production operators paying up to $29 an hour. Sundays are paid at time and a half, and night shift work has an added premium of $1 per hour. Applications are available 24/7 at Beckert, located off I-40 at Exit 3. Apply today.
Got a few skeletons in your closet? Want to seal your past criminal charges? Need to clear up some current ones? I'm Jackie Mock with Mock Legal Solutions. Fines and restitution add up. You need an attorney to help you navigate the justice system. But how do you pay for it all? At Mock Legal Solutions, we offer flat fees and payment plans so you can get back on track without selling a kidney. Now that's a monster of a deal. Call today for a free consultation. 479-769-1505. Mock Legal Solutions. Real advice, reasonable price.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
I was reminded every measure, riding trade winds, buried treasure. I got on fine with modern living, but must I be such a citizen?
Find Halftime on 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith in the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs in Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Now back to the host. Here's Phil Elson.
Well, we appreciate your calls and texts throughout this 3-hour edition of Halftime today. We'll be back with you again tomorrow for another award-winning edition. Thursday, we'll have Bob Holt joining us in hour number 1 for a usual chat. We've got Clay Henry joining us at 12 o'clock. He'll be with us for a couple of hours afterwards. And also, we'll be speaking with Greg Wrubel, who is the BYU radio play-by-play announcer. That'll be during our second hour, so it'll be an interesting conversation here all about the Cougs and all about LaVell Edwards Stadium and the scenery around it. That's one thing it'll take a little time to get used to at first, are the mountains that are smack dab right there in your face. But sooner or later, you forget that they're there, and you got a football game on the field to worry about instead. What else to worry about at this very moment would be our final reset of the day.
Hey, what you watching?
Why dost thou torment me with a TV, but not a TV guide to enjoy it with?
What do you plan on watching tonight?
How do you just walk into a house and take a TV guide? How does she expect you to watch TV? Am I just supposed to turn it on and wander aimlessly around the dial?
Well, only the National League Division Series will be on your television or your iPad or your phone or whatever it is you take in your baseball games. If you do take them in, Phillies and the Braves resume their series with Philadelphia up 1-0, 3:35 Central on Fox. Phillies going with Cardinal killer Zach Wheeler, and Kyle Wright, who won 21 games for the Braves, will pitch for Atlanta. Padres and Dodgers follow at 8:37 on FS1 with Yu Darvish for the Padres and Clayton Kershaw for the Dodgers. Dodgers won yesterday, so they've got a 1-0 lead in that best-of-5 series. There is a college football game on ESPN2 tonight. It's a Fun Belt Wednesday. Second-string schools in both West Virginia and Louisiana battle tonight. It's the Louisiana Don't Call Us ULL Ragin' Cajuns with a 2-3 record against the Marshall. Why am I forgetting what Marshall's team? Thundering Herd. I knew that's who they are. The Marshall Thundering Herd, 3-2. Marshall, a 10.5-point favorite in their first year in the Sun Belt. And on this very radio station at 7 o'clock on all of our affiliates and at hitthatline.com, it is Sam Pittman Live, hosted by me today. I'll be up there instead of Chuck. Chuck will be back on the call for the BYU broadcast on Saturday, though. Rocket Sanders and Hudson Clark are the guests for Sam Pittman Live, and that's what you got going on tonight. Maybe you might want to turn on a scary movie because it is scary movie season. I've already let you know about Smile. That's one that I think you'd enjoy if you go out to the theater for it, but I also saw and I think this is a sequel.
Yes, I saw you put this on here, Phil. This actually came out back in February, and I did watch this already.
Okay. Well, I didn't even realize because I always really look for the horror movies in October.
Yeah,
and
now's the perfect time for
blood and gore. Yeah.
I watched Freddy versus Jason last night. Was my go-to.
Are you doing one every night?
I am, and I told you the night before was Misery.
Oh man, that's one I'm not sure if I could watch again with the leg breaking.
I told you that it's like I've seen it 100 times, but at this point in my life, I had to turn the volume down and look away when she brought the sledgehammer out. I just couldn't do it.
You and everybody that watched that movie in the theater, I think, had the exact same thing. So this Texas Chainsaw Massacre,
it's good. Actually,
it is.
Yes, and it's got this young girl that was in that movie 8th Grade a few years ago, the Bo Burnham directed movie. But there are a few key scenes in it where I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool. And not to give too much away, there's one scene where the chainsaw is the girl's under the floor and the chainsaw's he's doing it through the floor as she's like crawling around. Really well done. So it's definitely a good October Halloween movie.
Sounds good and gory, just like any Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie should be. So I got too much to worry about with the Sam Pittman show, but maybe next weekend when there's no football, I'll get that into it. All right, Maddie will have the most recent edition of the Eastside Liquor Halftime Podcast coming out soon. Ruskin and Zach take you from 2 until 7, and then again at Sam Pittman Live. So thanks again for listening on another award-winning edition of Halftime. For Maddie, I'm Phil, and we're back with you tomorrow on Thursday. That's your halftime. Now get up, get out, and get better.